just because I don't.
Hey, Tim, what's the Wi-Fi password for public?
Right up there.
Oh, right there. Can you read it?
Should be done right now.
And Township Board to order for Monday, November 10, and we will start. Hang on, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sigh.
Let us take a moment to pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for another beautiful fall day, and just thank you for the changing of the seasons and for the snow today. And thank you for helping us all to gather here safely tonight, and help us just as we to continue to decide the future of just different things going on in the township. Help us to all engage civilly and just understand that we're all just trying to make this place a beautiful place to live. And thank you for the veterans who serve to keep our country safe. And we just thank you for another great day. And we pray, amen.
Amen. Nancy?
Jim,
Here.
Cy,
Here.
Henry,
Here.
Jessica,
Here.
Steve,
Here.
Todd,
Here.
David.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right. Before we get to approval of the agenda, I'm going to make one change to that. We're going to put J5 up to J. We're going to make that J1. I'm going to put the sewer updates by the engineers before the bulk family part because that's going to take a minute. So with that change, we need an approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any changes or anything to it? Nope. Okay. Approval of the minutes for October 27.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Approval of the bills, General Fund 19,595 through 636 and EFT 898 through 901.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Questions or anything on the bills? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We have two reports, treasurer's report and the building permit report. Both are self-explanatory. Any questions on those? No? All right. Public comment. So what we're going to do here is, how many of you, just show of hands, have a comment on the trail issue? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to save that public comment to when we get to item J2. And we're going to keep public comment, but just do it down there. So anybody that wants to comment now on anything other than the trail, come on up right now. Name and address, please.
Well, my name is Brad Jones. I live at 5894 7 Mile Road, east of Lakewood, down the end of 7 Mile Road. And the reason I'm here is I'd like to inform the community about Consumers Energy's plan to remove hundreds of trees along Blakely and all the way down to the end of 7 Mile, where it ends east of Blakely. It's about a 2-mile footnote down. And the reason for this is they want to improve the reliability of our electrical service. Let me give you a little bit of background of what's going on. So back here, power outages for my neighborhood back in 2017. I now have 8 years of detailed records. Over the 8 years, we've experienced 39 hours of power outages per year on average. That is 318% worse than the state average and over 500% worse than the national average. That's IPMA metrics, also backed up by Citizens Utility Board of Michigan. The primary cause of these outages is trees and branches falling on the power lines due to inadequate tree trimming by Consumers Energy. Complaints to Consumers Energy and Michigan Public Service Commission about outages and tree trimming produce no results. My complaint to the Michigan Public Service resulted in an engineer proposing moving the power lines next to the road along Blakely and 7 Mile Ways. This proposal has sat on the shelf for the last 3 or 4 years until this year. Last August 2024, another power outage. I called consumers and complained again about tree trimming that had not been done for over 12 years on this circuit. 3 days later, a line was taken to the ground on the road, 7 Mile, right at the end, on my neighbor's property because the tree was rotten and it fell over on the power pole, took the pole and the wire down to the ground. This tree and the power line was right there next to the road. After this, I was able to get a hold of the Consumers Energy Forester, got him out to my neighborhood, and he did not see any issues with the tree trimming and had no commitments about trimming trees. 7 days later, it happened again. Right down at the end of 7 Mile, another tree fell on the power lines, brought it down to the road. And it took, I don't know how many hours I had to go back to emergency to see when they finally got the power back on again. In January, it happened again. A tree was on the lines, on Blakely, just north of the gun club. The point here is that even if these power lines are right next to the road, it's not going to prevent power outages if they don't trim the trees. So let me go a little further with this. Finally, after more than 13 years, the trees on the circuit were trimmed during September of this year. So now they get the trees trimmed, we should have much better reliability. Last week, I learned that Consumers Energy is moving forward with the shelf plan to move 2 miles of power wires next to the road to improve reliability. This type of capital improvement spending results in increased rates for taxpayers because we pay for the movement of those power lines through our electrical utility rates as approved by the Michigan Public Service Commission. This type of capital improvement spending not only results in increased rates for ratepayers, but really benefits the shareholders that have invested in Consumers Energy. The ratepayers pay for it, the shareholders benefit from it, and the ratepayers do not benefit from increased reliability. Let me explain, because I like to work with facts and data. September of last year, the Liberty Consulting Group completed a year-long study of the 2 largest utilities, DTE and Consumers Energy, under the direction of the Michigan Public Service Commission. The reason for the study was to get an independent expert evaluation of the 4 components of these utilities and their costs and actions to improve reliability over the past decade. Currently, we have the highest electric rates in the Midwest, the 9th highest electric rates in the country, and that is documented. And as a result, we also have the worst power restoration times in the country. They are ranked 51 out of 51 entities. That includes the DC area. So we're getting lousy service and on for it. And now our utilities want to make us pay more for their capital improvement, which doesn't result in anything. So the Liberty Consulting Group was hired, did a year-long study for the Michigan Public Service Commission. And the reason, as I explained for this study, was to improve reliability. And as a result, their measures published by the EIA Citizen Utility Board placed them in buying the list. And this has been going on for quite some time. What they found that the number one cause by and fire power outages in our area across the state is the 7-year overall tree trimming cycle that Consumers Energy has targeted for low voltage distribution circuits. It's too long and ineffective cycle to avoid interruptions. Liberty suggests that we move that to a 4 to 5 year cycle, and the company circuits would not have to be trimmed. I should say some of your company circuits have not been trimmed in 20 years. Ours was not trimmed in 13 years. That's why you're trimmed every 10 years. I'll say one minute long.
No, you take your time.
Well, we can use this.
Consumers Energy capital spending has doubled between 2017 and 2022 with projects like what I'm describing here. And at the same time, Consumers Energy's reliability has been flat or worsening.
Hang on, I'm sorry. All right. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
And this is basically what's going on in our public utilities today is we're spending a lot of money on capital improvements, and the biggest problem is tree trimming. This confusing decision of both utilities to significantly increase capital spending in the face of historical evidence of its ineffectiveness to improve electrical performance leaves utility customers to wonder whether electrical performance took and is still taking a backseat to increased earnings for the utility shareholders. DTE and Consumers Energy are very profitable and are guaranteed to be profitable by our state constitution. The cost of moving these wires over 2 miles, removing hundreds of trees, is going to be paid for by the ratepayers. This is a complete waste of money. I contacted the Michigan Public Service Commission last Friday, and I propose that we pause this change for the next 2 years and monitor the outages. I've got 8 years of data on the outages on this circuit, and all we have to do is wait and see if they improve. And most likely they will, because studies have proven that they will. And the circuit, to justify moving this wire, will be proven by a 2-year pause in study. So I've contacted the Citizen Utility Board to help me out with this. I've also contacted the Michigan Public Service Commission. We're seeking legal advice to stop this movement of these power lines, because it's already been proven that it will be completely ineffective. We're going to pay for it, and it's a waste of money. Thank you for your time.
So, yeah, if you want to stick around. So if I have this right, consumers didn't trim the trees for years, which caused all kinds of problems. Then when they finally got around to trimming the trees to fix the problem they didn't fix before, now they want to move the lines and tear a bunch of trees down. That's brilliant. Perfect. We don't have any authority over the consumers in their utility right away.
Very much aware of that. This is for informational purposes only. We have a beautiful.
Well, but it may not necessarily be for information only. I think can we put this issue on our Facebook page?
Yes, sir.
We'll put this issue on our Facebook page. And the other thing we'll do, Todd, would you mind trying to get a hold of somebody from consumers and invite him to our next meeting?
I'd be happy to do that. Could I
Right.
ask you a favor? Would you mind sharing your the write up you have, because there's a lot of great data you threw out there that I think we would all love to have.
Yes, we would. And
Reams of reports.
Todd, you're perfect for this.
Great. Yes.
I volunteer Todd. So let's do that, because I don't want this. If there's anything we can do, we'll try to find. Well, no, we will find a way to do it if there's something we can do. But I think at a minimum, I think it would be fun, just for the sport of it, if nothing else, to have consumers to sit in front of you and explain all of this, right? Because it doesn't make much sense to me, right?
John, do you work for consumers, John?
Uh-oh. I take it.
I'm not, I don't mean to
you're
put. I'm not trying to put you on the spot. I'm wondering if you could. maybe
Yeah.
help me
Anything
get
we
in
can
touch
do
with the
about
right person.
that?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to Nate Henshaw, I believe, is the contact for he's our.
I hope this wasn't your decision, because after what I just said, I didn't know
I
that.
didn't do this part, so this is like my name.
Oh, good. Whew. That was awkward.
I don't disagree with something you're saying, but I can't speak for the company, but I will connect with Nate Henshaw.
Can you get that?
Thank you. I will.
All
Thank you.
right. So
Appreciate
we'll
that.
try to get them here.
Yeah, I can give you.
Sorry about that. I didn't.
I was thinking I was coming.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Who else? Who's next? Anything but the trail. And so what we do, you'll notice on the back of our thing, we have a 3-minute limit, but we don't enforce it because we just don't. Well, what's this? What do we got? Come on up.
That's great.
What is this?
That's wonderful.
Perfect. What do we got?
This is Sterling.
Sterling. Stella. Oh, alliteration. Nice. Okay.
Thank you.
All their names have the same syllables.
Oh, beautiful. And what?
Next door
To?
Missy, Georgia, to the township.
Right. Oh, yes. Okay. So the cemetery issue for you, right? Okay. Yes. So your letter your email was included in the on the agenda. So your issues are here in the record. But go ahead if you want to add to that.
So
No, you don't have to wait. You can say whatever you want now. But we have all read it, and it is in the agenda, and it was online.
Okay, I put on my worksheet.
Mhm.
A little mock-up.
Mhm.
I would like to give you guys.
Go ahead. Why don't you put it here? Because Jim, who promised me, said that our streaming was working. He left to go try to fix that.
The
So let
stream,
me.
by the way, the streaming is working, but anything that's wireless is not working. So that microphone's not working. Our wireless handheld's not working. They're trying to.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Well, we're getting there. So here's what. Just do you have more to add? Did you want to add anything, you guys? Did you have something to say, you guys? Anyone whose name starts with an S may go. Go ahead.
We've lived next door for 20 years.
Right.
I've been knowing the area outside my property for the last 20 years.
Yes.
Where my kids play football,
Yep.
do all the game years.
Mm-hmm.
And after reading what's proposed to come here, I went around my walk today, and my well is way closer to your cemetery and stuff
Mhm.
than what was
Mhm.
suggested. And after looking at it, there's some wiggle room, I'd say, to move things around a little bit so it's not so close to my property.
Mhm.
Like there's room in front of the township, there's room behind the township,
Mhm.
the playground, which are already cleared.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about
Mhm.
any of the ground things. And then the trees and stuff can stay there too, because there's a lot of mature trees there.
So I'm sorry. Do you have more? Because you can say all you want. Do you have anything else to add? Because I can tell you what we're. Oh, go ahead. Or what would? You, oh, I thought you were going to say something. Does anybody have anything? You're just okay. So here's the deal. And thank you for bringing your kids, because we always like to put a face to stuff, because this is mostly affecting, and it is mostly affecting you. But just so you know, this isn't a haphazard guess kind of thing for us, because we are going through this process, and before anything is presented to the board, everything will be presented to the board. Everything will be voted on. It will all be public. Nobody's going to make any decisions without every. Should we take a break for a minute?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, sure, why not? So,
You don't bother me.
yeah, good. So, anyway, one of the things we will do would be have our engineers do a groundwater study, because our engineers have already been involved in the placement and the design or the area of it, but no decision, no decision will be made without a thorough environmental ecologic analysis of the slopes, the groundwater, where it's going, what the risk to your property or any other property.
So include the trail, because when the trail was put in, I'm not sure how many of you guys have been around for 20 years, but
Unfortunately, I have, yes,
okay, so then you've probably been over to my house.
yes.
The trail was put in, it's angled the wrong direction, it's angled towards my driveway instead of being angled towards the street. And I've had, like, the people that just worked on Belden Road, last week I had them ask if they could help me, like, redo my driveway. And they're like, it's in the trail, we can see right from here, it's sloped the wrong direction. I get 2 inches of standing water in the bottom of my house, in my garage constantly. And my driveway, and I know that
that,
since I'm lower than everything else, that it's going to be a problem specifically for my.
Scott, can we fix that?
I'm sure we can.
All right, our engineer right back there, well, actually, it's not just some guy sitting in the back. That's our engineer who works on our trail. Will you look into fixing that for them, please?
That
There
was
you go.
fantastic. 'Cause
Okay.
seriously, I just came back from vacation. My whole house was this full of water. I'm sick of it.
Well, I'm sorry, that's not our fault. So anyway, no, it might be. I will fix, well, I didn't say that either. So Scott, would you look into that, please?
That'd be great.
And we'll get that rerouted. But stay tuned because all the information is published, and isn't that right? Oh, you're back. So we are going to look at that, right?
As we get it, it'll come out and it'll be published in the website and also on Facebook and
Perfect. Well, as I brought my children along,
Yeah.
I'm concerned for their safety as well as mine.
Oh, no, I'm glad you
and
did.
future
Absolutely.
generations
And we are too. We're for not only your family, but everybody. And particularly, we don't make any decision that negatively impacts the lakes and so on. But we don't just make this stuff up as we go. So it will all.
I know that.
Yeah, good. It will, the engineering will be very public, and you will have a chance to speak to it then and ask questions about it then and weigh in. Okay.
Perfect.
But we'll make sure that it's not going to affect your property. If it did, we're going to move it. So there you go.
Okay, that's
Right.
great. Thank you.
That's what that. And Scott, so the guy in the back with the glasses, can you get him your information, Scott? Turn around
It's
and you can.
it's all in the email if you click on that.
Oh, you've got sure the email, so you have that.
Yeah.
Can you hook up and then figure out what we have to do with that? And we'll
Just
fix
to just to clarify, is it the first house?
first house.
Yeah,
Okay, I know right where that it's kind of pitched right there
yeah,
in front of your house. I know
We'll fix it.
we can fix it.
that'd be great. Because
We'll
I've
fix
asked a couple other people that were in construction, like, yeah, you have to have the township do this. We can't just do it for you. So
No, we'll do it. All right.
great, thank you.
You have to pay for it though. I'm kidding. You don't. So.
Hey, I'm paying for it already with my taxes.
Thank-
so thank you.
Well, that was cold. Okay. All right. Who's next? Come on up, because what we have to do is because when our people do the minutes in here, too many. I let people speak too much. So what's your name and address, please?
Hi, I'm Bonnie Toft. I'm at 8066 Tillicum Grove and Tillicum Farms. First time here. See you all and see what's
Welcome.
going on around here. Thank you. From what she just said, why would you not put out an offer to allow people whose property is going to be directly impacted by these kinds of things the opportunity to participate in the committee discussions so these things could be brought to you first before you have to deal with it after? Have you considered this? And would you consider this?
Yeah, go ahead, Jim. You're the cemetery guy.
Well, we don't know what issues we're dealing with until we do the environmental study, the groundwater study, to figure out if we have a problem or if we don't have a problem. If we got 196 foot of clay, so we're not going to have to worry about it. We don't know what that situation is yet. All we've done is surveyed it, so we have the property description, and the Prine and Newhoff has done borings. I don't know if they did 100 or so, just to make sure that there's no groundwater up, so we don't have caskets floating like they do in New Orleans.
Right.
But that's been done. There is some concerns on the back part of the property, but that won't be developed for 50, 60 years, and we'll let somebody else worry about that.
Right, I hear you, but I understand exactly what you're saying. I'm just wondering what the process
Yeah,
is.
they
Like
were-
I said, I'm new to this, so I don't know what
Yeah.
your processes are for figuring out how you're going to do this and where you're going to put it. And I would wonder why, if you're going to be doing it, that woman's property, right? You know whose property is there, why you wouldn't approach them and ask them if they can
Well-
input or allow them to give you input as you're doing the process.
As soon as we have some information to share, we will be sharing it with those people
Well-
and the people farther back also.
But we've already shared it, which is why she found out about it and came to us, because we do
Right.
publish the information.
She's got 2 inches of water in her house now, though, is my point. So
That's
I'm not
not-
sure what.
Well, that has nothing to do with the cemetery.
Nothing to do with the cemetery.
Okay,
That's the trail.
just a suggestion.
Yep.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right, who's next? Anybody want to speak on something other than the trail? No? Okay. What? Somebody? What? Did somebody say no? Okay, all right. Well, we're going to move on to what? Where? Come on up.
Gonna be real quick.
I don't care how long you take. Name and address, please.
My name's Ryan Oldhouse. I'm at 6486 Ramsdale. I've been kind of in the middle of a fundraising campaign in Grand Rapids for a dirt jump or paved pump track bike park, essentially.
A bike park.
For the kids, for more gravity oriented jump style progressive.
okay. I see.
I'm not getting very far with some of the there's a couple governing bodies that aren't getting along in Grand Rapids right now.
Shocking.
And since I'm and I'm not very good at the public sector thing, and so it's all very new to me. So I guess I just wanted to publicly state that this is something that I've got a fundraising campaign ready to go. The bulk, the new park up on Belding Road, Townsend. All of this would be a couple of really great sites to consider in the future. So I just kind of wanted to get that out, and wondering who I could talk to in the future.
that
It
one?
doesn't have to
Take
be
it.
tonight. I don't need to take
He's
a
sitting right there. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
okay,
So I'm glad you came in tonight. Actually, a pump track is something our recreation committee has been looking at.
cool.
There's been a lot of interest in the community for one.
Cool.
So at some point, if you would like to come to a rec meeting, or you and I can sit down, we'd love to talk to you and talk about some ideas that you may have and see if we can't
Fantastic.
make them come to fruition.
Great. I assume your email and contact information is
Yep.
public. I can
It is. I don't have a card with me, but if you wait till
Yeah,
after the meeting, I can give you one.
Thank
You're
you.
going to make him sit through the whole meeting?
If you don't have to, Todd Olson, just they can
I'll,
get you.
I'll
You'll
reach
figure
out
it.
if I
You'll
can.
find it. You'll find it on our
Thank you.
website.
You bet.
Appreciate that.
Sure. Yes, you'll find we're not like other. All right. Who's next? Anybody? All right. With that, we're going to go to the Prine and Newhoff sewer updates. This mostly focuses on Wildermere, correct? Is that right? Mostly, or at least in part, right? All right. Go ahead.
Mark Prine, Prine and Newhoff.
You're really tall, so you might have to speak in. There you go.
Better. And you can go to the next slide. So we assist the township on sewer issues, and we work with the sewer committee on those types of issues. And the sewer committee tasked us with a couple of items, and that's what's on the agenda for this evening. There's actually 4 of them. One is an update on the Wildermere master plan. The other is to do a quick review on your capital improvement plan and your cash flow. And then that leads into 2 proposal activities for tonight. One is to accept or award the updating of your capital improvement plan, and the other one is awarding the Belding sewer project. So with that, we're going to start with the Wildermere master plan. This project has actually been ongoing for about 2.5 years. And it came out of the capital improvement plan, which identified that around, Tim, next slide, please. Around Silver Lake, we have some sewers that are situated between the homes and the lake. And as a result, those sewers are difficult to operate, maintain, and they put the system and the lake at risk. And as the sewer ages, it's about 50 years old. And as
How old?
50.
50.
As it ages, it continues to use up its service life, and at some point it needs to be addressed. So the sewer committee requested that a master plan review study be completed, and that was undertaken and done. As part of that, we'll just get it out on the front end. The study was done. We then had a public meeting, collected input.
We had 2.
It went back,
Right.
that input, incorporated it. Then we finalized the report, and then we met with the community again to go over what the conclusion was. And now we're asked to present it to the board as to what came of that. So for perspective, it's off to the right. It's called the sewer area. It's on the east and southeast side of the lake. And it's area that's currently served by Wildermere 1 and Wildermere 2 lift stations. And as I said, it's the sewer has a portion of it which is located between the homes and the lake. Can we go to the next slide, please? Just a couple examples of things that we found, and they're a little bit hard to see on that screen, but one is an offset joint, which basically means that the 2 pipes are starting to shift apart from each other. And the other one is basically a broken joint, whereabouts there's an issue on the pipe. That section of pipe, each of the dots that you see on, not the circles, but the colored dots, so the orange and the reds, indicate a defect on that line that is now being monitored. So we go to the next slide, please. Again, there's about 30 homes within this area on Wildermere and 7 along Belding Road that are within this. And so these are people that have sewer and we need to maintain sewer on, but again, it's getting very hard. And part of the challenge that we have is, if you go to the next slide, please, is where the sewer is located. So it's a little bit hard to see. I'm going to slide over. In each of the slides that we go through, if you look, you'll see a snake with green flagging on it. That would indicate where a sewer is located. So we have a sewer in this particular spot where homes have been built, and basically the sewer is tucked right between them. Or in this case, it's between the lake and the house, the sewer, the patio, the fire pit, trees over the past few years have grown up. Makes it a little bit challenging to get access to it and maintain. Next slide, please. Some other examples, stake here, stake over here. Again, these trees are years old. There's a sewer that's about 8 to 10 feet down. So we dig that up. Here, playground, trees, more homes. Next slide, please. Believe it or not, there's a sewer between the retaining wall and the beach. Right line underneath the decks and patios. Again, on this side, sewer line between the beach. A wall behind the building. Decks and run down. Next slide, please. 10 feet down, nice pool off to the side, private use pool. This one actually we could work as you might use one on a retaining wall, but it would be very tough. And so the people being asked to operate and maintain the system are coming out with actually manhole here under Gary's and having to service the line by hand instead of using vehicles, trucks, and CCTV. So it's very difficult to secure and maintain and operate the line. So this is why this planning process took place, was underway, so that the solution could be identified before it became critical. So it's a proactive approach. Next slide, please. So as this is a master plan, doing nothing really isn't an option. So there were 4 options identified, one being do nothing. We scratched that off right away. The next one we have is reconstruct in place or try and rehabilitate it or relocate it. So we'll briefly from that. Next slide, please, Tim. The problem with reconstruction is that it's kind of hard to do that with how close the homes are at this point. The distances, digging down, putting dewatering, we cause significant damage, and we put the lake at risk as well. So very quickly, next slide, please. That one's ruled out. That does not seem to be a viable long-term solution for the community. So that left rehabilitation. Thank you. Rehabilitation in this case is to basically invert a pipe inside a pipe, or it's cast in place pipe, cast in place manholes. It's frequently used where you have really hard infrastructure to get at and maintain. They say that the design life is about a 50-year life. Your experience with CIPP in your system from a few years ago, well, 20 years ago, is that it's going about 20 years and we're seeing failures on it. So it's a shorter duration solution than a relocation. Next slide, please. There are pros and there are some cons, but the big con on this slide is the last one on the right. The sewer location and access to it for long-term maintenance is still not there. So Christmas Eve, or better yet, Thanksgiving, since it's coming up, everybody cooks their turkey, dumps the grease down the line, plugs the line. They can't get to it to plug it very easily. It becomes a real challenge. So again, that's what we're trying to address. It would be less expensive. But if you look at life cycle cost, which has been the approach of the township, overall life cycle costs, not short-term solutions, but long-term planning and implementation of proactive projects, it's actually a greater cost to you overall. Next slide, please. And just for perspective, to complete that work, we still need to get this type of equipment in that area. So again, access in some form would be extremely difficult to complete this work. Next slide, please. Which gets us to relocate the sewer. So this one was a little bit challenging because Wildermere Road is actually a natural beauty road. So you really can't touch trees. And by the way, it was just repaved, so we'll want to do this after the life of the pavement's gone if we were to dig it up. But it basically turned into that relocation with individual grinders to some homes was the best solution. Next slide, please. So if we relocate the sewer, we can address the access issues. We can address getting away from the lake, protecting the lake. We can still provide sewer. And really, it's the best life cycle option cost. So that was the conclusion of that. We understand with the cons, it is going to be more disruptive along Wildermere. There's a discussion about getting to the other side of the trees, out of the road and the inside line of the park, with coordinating of that to minimize that impact. And the other con is a number of those property owners will have individual grinder systems to take care of. They would not be owned by the township. They would be turned over to the individual property owners. It becomes their responsibility. This was one of the things of discussion at length in the meetings. But in general, the takeaway from the individuals in this area was it's the best and right solution to do it. So when we came away, that was the recommendation as a whole.
I would say that was the consensus, but it was more than that. Every single one of the people that were on Wildermere that were in that meeting, that's what they wanted, wasn't it?
The second meeting, that's correct.
Yeah.
The first meeting, there were some questions.
There were, but at the last one, they understood that this is the best solution, I think, right?
Yep.
And that's what they wanted. And they were willing to accept those grinders once they're put in, right?
Correct.
They were also very pleasantly surprised that there would be no assessment.
Correct.
for them to do this. It's all in our budget, right? Which you're going to get into in a minute because of how we have run the sewer committee, right? With long-term planning, we have the money to do it, right?
You do.
So there will not be any increase in rates beyond the 3%, right?
That's correct.
Perfect. All right. So what do you want now?
So our final recommendation is, as we said, so Steve summarized it.
We can get an easement too. We'll put it in the park. We'll call that the bulk family sewer line.
So really that's the questions, or this is the opportunity
Yeah.
for questions. Happy to answer any questions.
What is the timing on this? When are we planning on doing this?
So that's a great leadway to the next item, the capital improvement plan. It's not defined. So you realize this was going to be an issue. So it's now defined so you can prepare a price or cost to it. And then you can add it to your capital improvement plan as your funds become available. Or as the way the township's been doing it, every couple of years, they reassess the needs and shift the capital projects around based off funding and need. So it goes into the mix and then would fall out.
A very brief history on this is back in 2012. We decided, I was gone for a while and then I came back. We decided we would redo how the sewer committee operates. And that's when we had Prime put together the long-term capital. Are you getting into this now? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So go ahead.
You're doing great.
No, well, anyway, so we decided rather than be reactive to our sewer system, which is the biggest utility and the most important one that we have, frankly, because of the lakes and the health of the lakes, we decided to be very proactive with sewer rather than reactive and just repair it when we need to when something breaks. And so the one rule we did have that we developed was we're not going to have assessments and there's no like arbitrary rate increases. We would do 3% a year no matter what. And we've stuck with that, right? Mm-hmm. And the first thing we did is we had Prine go in and film every inch of our system, and he developed a hierarchy of what needs to be done and when. And so the first one we did have to take bonds out because the northwest part of Silver Lake, was it?
Yep, the north
was about ready to explode. I mean, it was really bad. So we had to do that. And ever since then, and we came in significantly under budget with that because of the contingencies built in, which you made sure we never got to, right? We were able to use a lot of the bond money that was left over from that to front load projects we were planning on paying cash for in subsequent years. So we're way ahead of schedule, aren't we?
That's correct.
And we are on budget long term, right?
You are.
So go ahead from there. That's just the history of it.
So that's the background slide, and Steve just presented it very well. And the third bullet from the bottom is what Steve mentioned. So in about 2011-ish, 2012, you had basically no capital funds, and you were actually losing money annually in your operation and maintenance. In other words, you were drawing down your fund. And that was where...
That was before us.
That was where the sewer committee then was formed, and the approach of being proactive versus reactive was implemented. Mm-hmm. And everything subsequent to that is the result of that philosophy change, which was significant and has actually been very, very good for the township. But anyway, there are a couple of updates to the capital improvement plan, and that notes it. So for perspective, most people don't know you have about 30 miles of sewer within the township itself, about 4 miles of force main, and you have 12 lift stations. That's just within the township. Can you go to the next slide, please? So each of these lines represents a line in your system. And all of them have been evaluated and rated based off their condition and their criticality to the system. But you also need to be aware that you have a pipeline that goes from your township through Plainfield Township over by Alpine, wraps around and comes back to the treatment plant on Coit that you are an owner of. And you own a relative percent of it, and it's based off flow. So you represent about 10% ownership in those systems. So your capital plan historically has allowed for work down there, but focused on Cannon. And we now need to not only focus on Cannon, but start looking at the capital that's associated with the treatment plant. Believe it or not, the treatment plant's coming up on 20 years and is due for its first set of valve replacements and things. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure we capture that going forward.
And we have planned for that.
We do. Steve also mentioned all the projects that have been accomplished. So other than that initial bond and that 3% is allowing all these projects and ongoing projects to occur. And just for perspective, those projects represent nearly $10 million of work that's been accomplished in upgrading your system and taking it from, in some cases, essentially at the point of failure. The original capital improvement plan was actually initiated because you experienced 3 different failures within the township. So it's been very, very proactive, very intentional on repairing in a prioritization or a manner that protects the lakes and the community and the public health. You'll notice that we actually have 2 projects that are coming up. They're designed or being designed and or bid, and one will be the 4th agenda item, which is the Belding Road trunk sewer for 2026. So if you look at it, it's every year or 2 there's a project and it says the funds allow for those projects to occur. So this gets into how is the township managing it. Basically, this is a spreadsheet. I don't intend for you to read it. It's just to indicate everything that's being captured. So this spreadsheet is updated annually and started way back when the first CIP was done, and it looks at cash flow from historical and as well as the projection out. So the top is revenue in green, the middle in red is expenses, and the purple at the bottom is your capital or anticipated capital. And again, this allows the sewer committee in an interactive manner to push projects around and automatically see what it does for your cash flow basis. If we, next slide, if we zoom in a little bit, what's really the driver here is you'll see just under the red, darker red line is there's a line that says revenue less expenses. Right now, on average, the township is generating between $200,000 and $250,000 a year in basically funding for capital projects that it saves up so that it can try and pay for cash for as much of these projects as we can. So if you're to review the spreadsheet, there will be years that are black and there are years that are red. And what's happening is in the years that are black, the sewer fund generates a little capital. The total cash on hand goes up. You implement a project and your revenue expense for your gets significantly negative. So in this example, in 2025-26, which is the first red line right at the top where it says projected budget, if you go down that column, you'll see there's about a $700,000 shortfall. The intent was actually to do the project that I mentioned are for next year, this year, but due to coordination with a few parties and permitting, we were not able to cost effectively do it this year, so it got moved till next year. But again, it captures the essence of it. And then in the purple, you can see the remaining projects within the capital improvement plan that were identified almost 10 years ago that we still need to work on. So in that 10 years, a lot's been fixed. And there are things that obviously have aged in that 10 years as well. Next slide. But this is really the gist of that spreadsheet. So you'll see there's a light green line at $1 million. There's a blue line slightly below that, and then there's a darker green line above it. So if we start at the very top, the top line represents the cash reserve or the cash on hand that the township has in the sewer fund. And Steve mentioned it. Sewer is an enterprise fund, meaning the only thing that can pay for sewer are sewer rates. It's not taxes or things of that nature. So only parties that are paying for sewer are those that are actually on it. So they are generating or providing the revenue that the township is using to accomplish this. So there's the top lines of cash reserve. The 1 million line represents a minimum recommended by your financial consultant to have in the sewer fund to be in good standing. That number was selected for 2 reasons. It covers a certain amount of your operation and maintenance on an annual basis, but it also puts you in a position, should you in an emergency need to bond, that you would meet the higher bond rating. So there are 2 purposes to that line. It's very intentional why that number's there. Again, and that was implemented in 2018 after the first bond, just to be safe, right? Because that got cited by standard. And then the blue line represents that over under that I mentioned for cash that generated any particular year. So if we back up and look at the top line, you can see we go up, we do a project or 2, we drop down, we go up, we do a project and go back down. The first drop that's on this graph, the first big drop, it represents the project that is scheduled for next year on Building Road. And then we're going to have a fair number of years, and then we're going to do a large project if that current rate is, or current approach is maintained. And you can see we basically go down to the $1 million. So they're not generating a huge surplus for no purpose. There's a very intentional reason that the surplus within the fund is there. You'll also notice that the line after that second drop is very steep. The reason that is that's when some of the bonds start falling off for projects with the North Kent Sewer Authority, of which you're 10%, and your capital improvement plan stops in 2030. So you have a revenue source that becomes available, but you've stopped investing or reinvesting in your system in the current capital improvement plan because you don't have projects. So this is the reason why the sewer committee is recommending, which is the next item on the agenda, that the capital improvement plan be updated so that you can reestablish how you want to go forward on your sewer system from a rate perspective, how those get implemented and what project it is. So as Steve mentioned, you did one bond to kickstart, and then subsequent, everything's been held to that 3%. So,
which we're not going to violate. So what do you want us to do?
so your next item within this subset is the capital improvement plan update proposal. We'd request
That's
the township consider approving that.
So does anybody have any questions for Prine? By the way, if anybody has any questions of Prine, if you're on sewer, you can ask him right now if you want, or you don't have to. All right. So if there's no questions, does somebody want to make a motion to approve the capital improvement update proposal? Okay. That's been moved. Do we have support for that? Not to exceed 65 for the capital improvement update?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments at all? If not, all those in favor of letting Prine go ahead with that, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, good. What else do you want?
So the fourth item today then is the awarding of the Belding Road
Right.
project to Dean's Excavating. The one caveat I would like to explain on this is that this is a shared sewer, so there is a Cortland Township component to it as well as a Cannon Township component. So if you elect to proceed forward, this would be award to Dean's contingent on Cortland approving their share of the project.
So a motion would be to approve the Prine and Newhoff recommendation to award the project to Dean's Landscaping contingent upon Cortland approving the same, with Cannon Township's share not to exceed $2,249,000. That would be the motion?
Yep.
All right, I just made it.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions about that? And we do have the money. That's
You
planned.
do have the money.
All right. All those in favor say aye on that.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, please. If not, all right. And we have in the packet were the bids on there. Skipper, Montgomery, and Deans. What else do you want?
That is all.
That's it? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Perfect. So now, okay. Well, that's done. So let's go to Olson, the playscape for the bulk park.
This will be a quick one. So there's the proposal that is in your packet for the Bulk Family Park. Outdoor Research Center is a company that specializes in building playscapes that are out of natural materials, timbers, logs, rocks, that kind of spark kids' imaginations to play and climb and have fun. As a township for years, we've wanted to build a nice playground. The playground we have behind the township is excellent for kids under, 6 or 5.
2.
Or 2. But so we wanted to add, so when the opportunity came along with Bulk Family Park, we thought, well, maybe this is an opportunity for us to build that playground we've always wanted. Having said that, the playground process was well underway when we got involved. So the Bulk Family and Kate County Parks were very excited about the Outdoor Discovery Center doing the playground. So that decision to use them was already made before we got involved. The projected price we have right here is what we kind of thought. We do have a prospective donor. Fingers crossed, we might get it covered. We're working on that. But if we don't, we have the money for the playground. As many of you remember, we sold the lease rights on the cell tower, which netted us $400,000. That $400,000 we wanted to use towards a playground. So we'll be using some of that money towards that. So some of you may want to see the plans. Since the plans aren't finalized yet, which they will be soon, we will have a copy at the front counter up here. So they're not there yet. I'll have Outdoor Discovery Center do a wide format print and deliver them up here. So if anybody'd like to see them, they're welcome to stop in and see those.
And they are able to do the work sometime in the early part to mid part next year.
That's right. We've accelerated our schedules to try to get this project done as soon as possible, and they've been fantastic.
Mm-hmm. But you can see, I don't know if any of you have it, but there's going to be swings, sand, water play, grass play, shade shelter, a small gross motor climber, balance features, grade slide play features, creative play cabin, loose parts zone, group swing, bear cave, climbing, balancing logs, boulder log, large gross motor climber. And then I thought I saw they're going to have is that what the bird thing included in that?
That's a different feature. So there'll be a bird watching station.
Right.
It's part of the plans, but that's not part of the playground.
Okay.
That's over the wetlands that are north.
Is that included in this?
It is not.
That will be separate.
That'll be separate.
Okay. All right, good. But so the plan over there is to have not only disc golf, but there's going to be a bird watching thing and a jack overlooking the wetlands, right? And
Correct.
that's separate. Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Frisbee
all
golf.
right.
If anyone's interested in seeing what this company does, if any of you have been to Rockford Christian School on Belding Road, they're the company that did that beautiful playground they have out there.
And almost all of it's natural.
It is. It's all natural.
And the beauty of this, which was really important, they really wanted us to work to keep the trees over there so they could utilize that as part of their design. So we were able to, some of those most beautiful trees. How old, Jim, do you think some of those trees are? He was estimating this because I think they were planted when he moved here.
Yeah, right. A few years before that. The one tree I'm estimating is over 300 years old. It's original white pine that's about 4 foot on the stump. And there's not many of those left in Michigan. There's 3 of them over there, and we have 3 of them in our Sunfish Lake Cemetery. So they're great trees to be able to keep.
And we saved them, and they're going to utilize those as part of this, and it's going to be in the shade it's going to be beautiful. So do you want a motion on that?
Sure.
Why don't you make it?
I'll make a motion that we accept the proposal from Outdoor Discovery Center for not to exceed $450,000.
Support.
Any questions, comments, anything?
If
What?
this is not covered by, I hope it is donated, which is amazing. That's
Yep.
awesome. Is this included in the $4 million that we budgeted for the whole park, or is
It
this
is.
separate?
It
Okay,
is.
will not add to that at all.
Correct.
Thank you for clarifying.
All right. Any questions other than that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed? All right. Good. Good work on that. Next up, okay, let's get into the Cannon Trail expansion. Todd, why don't you start us off?
Sure. So tonight's meeting is, and for some of you, I know there's some familiar faces out there. You've been a part of this process for a while now. Tonight's meeting is we are to the point where the board, I want the board to review the final plans and vote on proceeding with building the trail. So this has been a long process. A lot of things have changed, evolved over time. So with that, I want to introduce Scott Post, who is our engineer from Prine and Newhoff. I love saying this because I love bragging on Scott. He's engineered over 500 bike trails, 500 miles of bike trails in West Michigan, over 30 years of engineering bike trails. So he's to say you're an expert is an understatement.
It adds up over time.
It shows. That's okay, though.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Scott. Here's what we're going to do, though, just so everybody knows, because I promised this. Let's do it this way. If we're going to have public comment, everybody here will have a chance to speak. We don't, unlike anybody else, we don't have a timer that says your time is up, your 3 minutes, sit down. the only thing we say is if you have 5 minutes of something to say, try not to take 7 or 8 minutes to say it. Okay. And remember, everybody is here to speak if they want to. And so just be respectful of everybody's time. So go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, just I guess some brief history on this project. The Cannon Trail has been envisioned as a separated pathway cross country as much as possible since early times. I know when Jim Haggerty back in the day was working on the Cannon Trail that I'll be helping somebody fix. Over time, that was the stated goal, was to make this as much of a free flowing trail as possible. It wasn't just a side path along the roads, as much as possible. So that goes back to Bonnie Blackledge and Kim McKay as well. So this, and I think the stated goal also was to connect downtown Cannonsburg to Rockford and Rockford's system. So this is the final missing link. I hung up the township's master plan right there. So if anybody wants to look at it afterwards or at a different time, we can talk about it. I believe it's also on your website, so they can look it up. But this is that final missing link. And just, this project was always intended to be cross country and separated as well. In fact, the original iterations of it showed it coming up into Luton Park and then going cross country through properties past Rum Creek Trail, I think, and then along the south side of that development that's right up to 10 Mile, and then along the north side of the school property. So that's been the stated route of this the entire time. So now with all these in place, this is this last missing link, I guess. So, and just to make a couple of things is that once this is connected also, in addition to connecting Rockford to Cannonsburg, now future expansions are in the works to expand to the west so that the Grand River Greenway it will tie into. The Grand River Greenway is an ambitious plan that Kent County Parks is working on to tie in with Ottawa County's Item Explorers Trail to Grand Haven, and then to the Fred Meyer Grand River Valley and CIS trails all the way out to Owasso. So this would tie into that. These sections would all tie into that. In addition, this is part of the North Country Trail and the Iron Bell Trail, which the Iron Bell Trail was Governor Snyder's initiative several years ago to make Michigan a trail state. And so he envisioned a trail going up the east side of the state and a trail going up the west side of the state between Bell Island and Ironwood, I think, whatever the city is right at the.
Can you tell us generally where this phase is going to go?
Yes.
Yeah, and what properties and area will be involved here?
Yeah. So I can flip that over. Just wanted to say a couple things about it before I got there. One of the reasons that this trail is separated too is that you guys did receive a $300,000 grant from the trust fund. That grant was given because you are improving the Iron Bell Trail, going from a walking route along a road to actually a separated facility. So
Go ahead.
Flip it over.
Any questions, Scott, so far while we're at it? No? Anybody? Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you. Go ahead. Well, come up and ask him while you're sitting back there. Go ahead.
I just had a question about the funding source you just mentioned. You said it was the Grant Trust Fund. Is that a state fund?
It's a state fund, yeah.
Okay.
All right, good. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah. So
You can go wherever you want.
Oh, okay.
Just talk loud.
Just talk loud. It's okay.
So this is Cortland Drive. Cortland goes up to 10 Mile and then to the west, Rockford. Over here is Hickory Court at the end of Hickory Court. To the south through Ray Springer's property. He gave us an easement a few years ago to build that section. That then goes out to 9 Mile, Myers Lake, and then back down to the township and around. So this is the section past the school. Both sides originally, like as I said, it was going to go like this, and then across country, and then down to the park. Some that didn't work out, as everybody had hoped over time with negotiations. So the secondary route was chosen.
Can you expand on that, Scott, why that didn't work?
Yeah, why didn't that work out?
We actually had easements from the school, from the development to the north, and from one of these property owners. There was one property owner here who did not want to grant an easement. So that was why that didn't go.
Okay. And the trail right now ends was it just east of the end of Hickory?
Correct. It ends right at the end of Hickory Court.
Well, so my understanding, because I looked into this after our last meeting, because I said I would, the original intent was to go not in the right of way on Hickory, but to the east of Hickory and the houses on the east side of Hickory. Is that right?
Yeah, the original intent was to negotiate with the property owners on either side of the end of Hickory.
Right.
Keep it cross country, go straight north, and end at Key Street.
But that didn't work out either.
That didn't work out as well. Again, the property owners didn't want to grant easements for that.
Okay. All right.
So then that routed it along.
Okay. All right. What else? That it? That's it.
That's it. Yeah, that's the project. So
Okay, good. All right. So does anybody have, before we get to public comment, any questions of Scott? Go ahead. If you don't mind, though, so we can hear you for the minutes. So, yeah, go ahead.
James Lucas, 5395 Royal Corp. So right now we're cutting behind the elementary school. Is there not an alternative to just continue down the road and then up? Is that not an option?
that option was discussed many times, and we've had conversations with many of the property owners about that as well. The stated goal of the trail was to be as much cross country as possible to provide a more natural route. And in this case, the schools actually preferred this route as well and really appreciated this route and very enthusiastically gave an easement for the project to follow the edge of their property.
But there is an option to go in front, right? If they were willing to give an easement, you could go down the road and then
well,
up the road.
We could, I guess on that level, we could put the path anywhere we want, sure.
If we got the easements. The problem is that if it goes along the road, then you're talking about it has to cross driveways.
Yeah, it crosses driveways and it becomes more of a sidewalk.
Yeah.
There tends to be a more preferred. Most people appreciate riding out into with the limited crossing.
And to the extent possible for safety, primarily of the kids, we want to keep it off as far from the roads as we can get it. And you said the school really likes the idea.
Yes.
Was that your concern, that it's going to be by the school?
Yeah, my concern is mostly my children who go to that school.
Yes.
Like we are creating more risk to those children. They're now going to have an open public walkway where they're playing all day, where people can just go back without any concern. And then there's 2 monitors that are there. Now people, if they go back there, they're flagged. Okay, there's some random person walking back next to my children. Now it's just going to be normal. You can have as many people as you want walk by. That's a risk.
What did the
children there?
I didn't mean to, I'm sorry, I cut you off. The school weighed in on that, right?
And Dr. Matthews sent a note to us. It says the proposed Cannon Trail does not increase the Meadow Ridge safety risk from my perspective as superintendent of school district. We have other trails that come close to our school buildings, 3 in mind. First, we have the Rockford City Trail that comes close to Parkside Early Childhood Playground. That trail was there when the building was an elementary building as well. We have the White Pine Trail that comes close to the Belmont Playground. And we also have a sidewalk that comes close to the administration early childhood playground. Each of these spaces, we have never had a safety risk come from the trial. From my perspective, these trails do not create additional safety concerns because of our students are using the playgrounds or the outside space. There's always adult supervision. The district granted the easement because we wanted to be a good community partner in a project that would have a community benefit. Signed, Dr. Matthews.
Yeah, and I would just like to say for this, everyone here, logically thinking through it, there is an increased risk, whether it's small. There has to be, right? I mean, you're putting people in a public space where they're no longer there's literally 2 monitors who will now say, okay, there's people back there, but it's not a concern, it's public trail.
Mm-hmm.
Where before that would be flagged and they would be watching them, they would be curious and they would say, hey, you're not allowed back here next to the school. So it's hard for me to see that there's not some increased risk, whether it goes from 0.5% to 0.75%.
Right.
If there's an alternative, why would we want any increased risk?
Todd, you want to speak to that? Because the part of the issue here is that when it is, this is a question, this part of the trail is on the school property and the school gave us the easement.
The school wanted it there.
The school wanted it there. So, yeah.
And it's their property.
I get that. Everyone here has a decision to make of,
right?
Are we willing to accept higher risk when there are alternatives of where that path would
I
go.
think you're talking to the wrong folks. That's a
If
school.
you
board
want to,
question.
if you listen, if the school board or the school or Dr. Matthew, whoever said to us, we think there's an increased risk there, we wouldn't do it, right?
Yeah, and
If they said we're not going to grant you an easement, fine, we would abide by their decision. I don't have a problem with that. But when Matthews says this is where we want it, and they were enthusiastic about it,
they were very enthusiastic about it.
and they
saw the
wanted
value to
there,
it.
and they granted us an easement through
Correct.
the property. So
And there's been, I mean, I've got a chain of letters this thick of everyone raising concerns just like you.
Yep.
This has been very well thought out by the school board and by everyone involved. There's been people that have proposed, well, let's not cut through the trees. Let's try to move it out into the field. And that's a bad idea because then they're even closer. So if you've been to Meadow Ridge, you know, there's signs that say the public cannot come past these signs, those signs that are out there right now.
Yep.
So that's why they want that on the property line. So it's well past those signs and through those woods. So there's a separation between the trail and the playground. But there's advantage for families in the neighborhood to be able to ride their bikes with their kids and their tricycles to the playground when the school's not in session. There's tons of advantage and health benefits for everyone involved. So this has been very well thought out. And his point is real. They have trails that are closer to other playgrounds within this Rockford School District, and there's never been a problem. So
Again,
I get what you're
asking-
saying. I get what you're saying, but it's hard to create a bunch of rules for things that don't happen.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying that if there is alternatives, why increase the risk at all?
So, and Scott said it, you know, one of the things that we try to do is aesthetics is very important on this trail. And you're not the first person to raise objection. I mean,
Yep.
when we first built the trail 25 years ago, we had objection from those that didn't want to have it right next to them. I think if you talk to those folks that have the trail right next to them now, they love having the trail because they use the trail, they walk on the trail, and it gives them opportunity for recreation and to get outside. So, you know, we, from the beginning, from the get-go, when we were envisioning what this trail would be like, you know, Scott said it best, the trail that runs along the road is a sidewalk. I mean, it's not that great to ride a bike along the road and a sidewalk. And, you know, it's better to be off in the woods and have that's why Luton Park and Kent County have been fantastic partners on this. They're letting us cut through that beautiful space there. Rockford School is the same way. Even when we did this little section back going up to Hickory, those folks were fantastic to give us that easement through there. And if you've walked that section, you know, it's fantastic to get out into woods, out in nature and walk that path.
Yeah, I would just say it's not nature there, right? You're putting higher risk to the students when there's alternative right in front. I understand the comments of, yes, let's have it through nature, but it's not nature. You're putting it right where their playground is, and that's it.
I think we've addressed it though. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Who's next? Might as well stay up there, Scott, and move this morph right in. Come on up.
My name is Lacey Jonathan. I actually don't live here. We own property at 8099 Cortland Drive. And I also have children at Meadow Ridge Elementary. So I appreciate you allowing me to speak here. And I will follow James Lucas. Thank you, James. As also a concerned parent. I feel I'm not as prepared as some of these people with their brilliant facts and things like that. I come here with a heart for my 4 children that will be at Meadow Ridge for very many years and for the other 431 children that I serve there. I think the trail is an amazing idea.
The what?
Right for the community, the trail. Overall.
Okay.
It is a huge concern to the parents, that many of them, because they also haven't been a part of the conversation. And that's part of it. I don't think that saying Rockford is necessarily excited about it or that safety is not at all concerned. If you watch the school board meeting where they granted easement, in the 11 minutes that you were there speaking, never once was the word student brought up. Nothing about student safety. Biker safety, yes, but never once about student safety. So I don't think it's fair to say that student safety was a concern, that it wasn't even brought to the table in those 11 minutes. Not that it wasn't outside of that conversation, but definitely not what was posted publicly. So I would just like to say the parents are only asking to be a part of the conversation. And I've been at Meadow Ridge for 5 years now. Never once has it been brought to my attention other than from hearsay in the community. And it's really hard to find information online to find out what the truth is, to where it is, and what is going on. There are 2 people out there supervising 143 students on the playground. That is an absolutely inherent risk to bring other people to the community. We are putting them there. We are just asking to be a part of the conversation for the alternative options. And yes, there are other areas in the school district that have similar trails nearby. It is not the same footprint of the playground. The Parkside one, they have a much smaller space. They had a much smaller student to staff ratio. That is a different, but it's not apples to apples. So I realize that part of this conversation also looks like with Rockford, and that will be happening, and some of those pieces have happened. They also gave us our blessing as parents to come to this meeting to voice our opinions to the board, and hopefully you guys are open to hearing that, but we just want to be a part of the conversation. The other piece of it is there's not even a talk of a fence at the very least. And I realize that that's not the ideal situation either for bikers, people that want to walk on the trails maybe, but is there not any compromise in any of this? You know, parents want to be a part of the conversation, and to have no information and no place to find sources, that's the hard part. So I really hope that you guys can feel that it's not necessarily people against the idea of the trail in general, but like James said, we are putting inherent risks there when there's other alternatives. And I do appreciate anybody that's willing to listen.
Where are there what are the other alternatives? To run it right along Keys, or what would you do? School doesn't want that though, right?
Well,
hang on. We'll get to that in a second. What? We'll get to it. I promise. Go ahead.
And I'm here.
yeah, this was the route from the beginning. Just like I said, going back 20 years. But I mean, you could run it down Keys.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a fundamentally different trail. But
it would be a fundamentally different trail. And then is there a risk on Keys with driveways, curb cuts, and
yeah, you're introducing a whole different set of risks that would be to the bikers.
So there would be risks to kids on the road crossing. Okay. All right. What did you want to say? Come on up. Were parents involved in this, by the way?
No, we weren't. No, sorry.
There were no parents involved in the.
She said there was no information. So I do want to speak to that. And if you've been to this meeting. Okay. Okay. We've been very transparent from the get-go on all fronts.
Okay.
One of the things we don't do is we can't disclose what we don't know yet, right? So as we're working through the process and we're discovering that the trail can't go there for a certain reason or this reason, there's no sense in engaging everybody and getting public input if it's not going to be there. So, but as soon as we were able to do the engineering and do the topography and the studies to make sure that it'll work, once we decided that it was going to go there, that's when we started engaging the public and we started getting a lot of people involved. So the trail plans, by the way, just like I said, for the playground plans are available on the front counter right there for anybody to look at any time. We don't release them out into the public only because if we have various versions of the trail out into the public, everyone gets confused what we're doing. Because as it'll keep changing and go through different iterations until the board finally votes like we're at the point, we're at the final now. So
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Becky Taylor. I live at 8101 Cortland Drive, so I live directly across the street from Meadow
Please talk into that. Sorry. You
from
can pull
Meadow
it down
Ridge.
if you want closer, because the last person.
Okay, I did not plan to speak, but
That's okay.
I have 4 children at the school, and I don't feel comfortable having the trail behind there when there are. I don't even think we need to run it along Keys. Like, why don't we just run it on the south side of the property for the school? Like, that is just field right now. Like, and maybe that's a school district thing too, but can I show you on the map?
Yeah, do that.
So,
Can you move, Scott, so I can see?
I mean,
Sure.
this is the school here, right?
Yes.
School Drive. This is school right here. Like, can we bring it through? I don't know what this property.
While you're up there, can you point to where, because I can't see it from here, where is the fence or where is the trail proposed right now?
Up here, the red.
Okay, it goes up there. And so where's the playground that kids are?
The playground. Okay,
Up in.
everyone knows the playground is right here. And I mean, I think we're saying this is going to be in nature, but if people go out there to look, there's not much nature there. I mean, and if they cut the trees down, there might be just a little row on each side that separates the neighborhood.
So what are you saying? It should go on the, it should go on the south side?
This is field, right? Like,
Yeah.
You're not cutting down trees. You're bringing it away from the playground.
there is one concern, I think, right there. Isn't that where that power line easement is? Scott,
There is a power line easement, but
we can't get an
We
easement
can't
from
build in an
consumers to
easement.
build there.
It is. Yes.
In addition to the power line easement, which we actually did have conversations with the school, we also did discuss that route with the school. And the school said that they don't know what their future development plans will be for that southern area. And so they preferred it along the property line.
So just so
that's where that came from.
sorry, just so I have this clear, we came down on this because this is where the school told us
Correct.
they wanted. Because we have to utilize their property for this trail.
That's right.
And this is what they said they want.
Right.
Okay. Sorry.
So yeah,
Oh.
I guess some of the, as I'm not speaking for all the parents, but some parents that have their children at the school would just like to have some conversations, and maybe we need to go to the school board but like if you guys said it tonight, does that
Now look,
can changes be made? Do you know what I mean? Like I just think
I think what you're getting at is, which I was thinking myself, is if we hypothetically, because I listen, like I said last time, I don't know how I'm going to vote on this because I want to hear from everybody. If we were hypothetically to approve this, right? And these folks went to the school, and the school said, "Listen, we listened to everybody. We want to revisit this." There would be time to do that, right? Would that be right, Scott?
Yeah, there would be time to revisit things
Yeah.
at the school.
I know.
We can't slow this down too much if we plan on breaking ground when school gets out to have the project completed
Right,
before
right,
school
right,
gets back in
right,
session.
right.
We got to get on the construction.
Yeah, we do. But we would be, I think conceptually we could, I can see, so you're thinking on the south. Here's the thing.
But Steve, before you go down that road, Scott did say, and he's right, they don't know what they're going to do with that south part
Right.
in terms of development. And then,
Right.
so 20 years ago, we originally envisioned going along that north border. That's always been the plan all along. We only added the east border to get to the north border because that's where it doesn't
Because
encumber,
the school
it doesn't
forever has said
encumber
that's where
anything
they
else.
want it.
That's right. It doesn't encumber anything else on their property.
All right. That's what the school has told us. And then Matthews wrote that email confirming that. So I would go to the school if I were you. So,
Okay.
all right, the board meeting. Anything else?
no, I mean I guess one thing too is you mentioned like safety wise, and you compared it to like a neighborhood, a school. I think something to think about is a school is very different than a neighborhood. Like I wouldn't mind having it. I don't care if the trail's in my backyard, but with the school, like that is a lot of kids, a lot
Yeah.
of people, and there's a big hill there, and so I'm just concerned about adding that.
Well,
So
I would think though that is it done, Scott, where there are in a situation like that where there could be a fence put up along that portion of the trail?
Yes, you could put a fence there. You know, there's cost involved with the fence.
But there would be cost involved, but that could be done,
okay,
right? That would mitigate that, I think, right?
possibly.
Yeah. Again, when I was reviewing this stuff, because I want to make my decision based upon what I see. I don't get involved in the machinations of it. These people do all that, and then I make my mind up on what people say here and what I see in the packet. And when I saw that from Matthews, and I think we heard last time that this is what the school wanted, we kind of deferred to the school because it's their property and their responsibility.
Yep.
You see what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
I just think parents maybe feel left out.
Yeah, I don't blame you, but certainly I would get back with
okay.
the school depending on what happens. All right, so who's next? You're ready to go, so go ahead.
And just a note,
I know,
just
I
note,
saw that.
Steve, as well. We in previous Parks and Rec committees, we had conversations with previous administrations of the school as well.
And they were all that way from the
This was what they were thinking too.
All right, go ahead. Name and address, please, and thank you.
Mary Velas, 8145 Oakview Ridge. My property backs up to that
Mhm.
proposed trail.
Mm-hmm.
We have some beautiful pines back there, and it's nice. I've heard about safety, being away from the main roads, and I understand that. I mean, I walked the trail along Belding Road between Belding and Silver Lake, and it was like semis and everything.
I know.
That was crazy. But I've also, for safety, I have had people back in my property in that little stand of pines doing some smoking or doing some other things. I think they're probably middle schoolers kind of doing those things that
Mhm.
they do. but it is a good place for people to lurk. And I say that because I've had it happen. And so people have told me, oh, nobody ever goes off those trails. You can't tell me that.
Right.
So I do have some concerns. I love those trails. I love to use them. I'm just saying for the safety factor, I as well, it just draws in more people. And so that fence would, if we do the fence, I appreciate that for the school and everything because my kids went there as well. I was going to push people over on the other way too. So
We do have we promoted Blake. He patrols the trail now. So we do have a guy that patrols it. Of course, he's going to be quite busy because we're going to have like 80 miles of trail. But
yeah.
I mean, at some point, I would think,
get that.
I think at some point, someday, there's going to be enough trails.
There's
do you think,
probably
maybe?
going to be, and
But-
people are people.
but-
Not everybody behaves. But
No, they don't. No, I know.
Thank
And,
you.
and in fact, we've had to have, we've had to put up rules because people are, I don't get it, but I get that. Right. Oh, hello. Come on up.
Hello, my name
Hi.
is Stephanie Zao. I'm at 5221 Sunfish Lake Avenue.
Okay.
I am a current user of the trail,
Mhm.
and I'm really looking forward to being able to get to Rockford.
Mhm.
I would really like to be able to ride my bike to the farmer's market and safely
Right.
back with
Yes.
all of my items. I currently enjoy the wilderness aspects of the trail. I lived in the city for 14 years before I moved out here 8 years ago, and I really do enjoy all the nature.
Beautiful.
I think a fence could be really helpful with the school. And thank you very much.
Thank you. Who's next?
We're in the public.
Just, it doesn't matter. Come on. Apparently we,
We're still going. But
no, apparently we are. So come on up. Whoever's next.
yeah.
Just
Come on up because if you, Scott, he'll weigh in if he needs to. So go ahead.
I'll be quick. Bob Workema, 8310 Rum Creek Trail.
Uh-huh.
I'm back on the back side of that
Uh-huh.
there, and I'm an avid user of all of the trails.
Ah.
In fact, I rode Iceman this past weekend. If anybody knows,
You did what?
rode Iceman.
You
this
did,
past
I'm sorry, you did what?
Iceman. It's
What's that?
It's a mountain bike race up in Traverse City.
Oh,
from Alaska to Traverse City, 35 miles of beat the hell out of you.
Mm.
But anyways, avid rider. I rode Luton today. Actually rode the Cannon Trail today as well, in the snow, and slipped and slide. But anyways, a quick question for you because I'm very familiar with these trails and the layout, particularly for biking purposes.
Mm-hmm.
You're putting this trail on the north side of Keys instead of the south side of Keys, and I understand that because of the going through the school property. However, on the north side of Keys, you've got ravines and a number of other challenges along that way. I'm sure you guys talked about this and tried to figure and came to this as the best idea, but I'd love to have the information as to why it went north instead of on the south side of Keys, and now with the school discussion, maybe that enters it in as well.
Yeah, there's that study of which side of the road to put on was several years back. So I've been looking at different issues since then, but I guess some of the ones that pop off the top of my head, the biggest one was the use of Luton Park and access to Luton Park. That one was Kent County Parks also was excited about that access, bringing people. There's been discussion about now creating a system where people can bike from Merrill Trails to Luton Park and then down the Cannon Trail. So a lot of it was access to Luton Park was one of the big calls for it. The other one was the South Side also has its geographic challenges, especially down toward the east end, or the west end, sorry, where the houses all drop off. There's a lot of retaining wall issues that we'd have to, and driveway reconstructions we'd have to do on that side as
Definitely
well.
gonna have that on the north side as well.
Yes, correct, absolutely, and we do. I'm just saying they're on both sides. Yeah, and then the other issue was I think one of the large properties was a development. We would have had to have used a limit to make the path actually fit in nicely, or we would have had to have used a limited common area of a development on the south side. It's very difficult that requires 100% agreement from every single person in the development, and so those get kind of difficult, kind of problematic to work through. So
The other one I think is aesthetics mainly. So an opportunity, like we've been saying, we'd like to try to get that trail off the road as much as possible. So having that ability to run through Luton and kind of wind through that pasture and, just make it more scenic and aesthetically beautiful. And then we had no choice but to kick it back out to Keys, but then we go back off around through Meadow Ridge. It seemed to be the best option.
Who's next? Oh, come on up. I don't see over here, so I hope you weren't there a long time with your hand up.
No, thank you.
Go ahead. Sorry.
My name is Paul Wyatt. I am at 5344 Royal Court.
Where's that?
Rockford Hills Village.
Okay.
Subdivision.
Yeah.
So just to start, I'm with many others here. I'm thrilled that there's a trail that's coming in our area. My wife does not want to ride anywhere other than 25-mile-an-hour roads. So this gives us opportunities to get to Bella Vista, Extent, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So Scott may be able to correct me on this, but when I mapped off Hickory to Cortland, it is 1.17 miles. When you go from Hickory to where I think the trail is proposed to jog north, it's 0.95 miles. So you are roughly talking about 1.2 miles between Hickory and Cortland and 1 mile. So you're really saving 2.2 miles to go around a school and have it adjoin the playground. Is that accurate?
What's your question? It could be. I know that you're saying
the difference between the difference between running it from Hickory to Cortland along Keys is 0.2 of a mile.
We're adding a little bit of distance. We're adding another, basically 0.2.
Right, but if you went linear, it'd
be 0.2 shorter.
It's right.
Yeah.
So is that experience really worth the inherent risk to the playground? And I think it's laughable for Dr. Matthews to say there's no increased risk. I mean, this is 2025. When the trail was put in at Parkside, that's the only one I can speak to. I don't know the other schools. The dynamics of schoolyards were completely different from today. I bring up the bond issue that got shot down because it was a mix of needs versus wants.
Mm-hmm.
And the taxpayers are saying, hey, we don't want wants, we want the needs at this point. Included in the bond were electronic door locks for all classrooms in the district. So you want to protect the students inside the school, right? In case there's an emergency, perish the thought, but you're going to leave a playground completely wide open to whatever mischief is out there. It's just completely inconsistent with what he has said. And I have no idea what his motivation would be to want to run it along the playground as opposed to along Keys. Something nobody's brought up yet is the soccer field. So
at
I
the
can
school?
speak
Is
from,
this at the
pardon?
school? At the school? So we're still on
So
the
it
school?
adjoins the school property.
Okay.
I really don't know who owns that property, but there's
Do we know?
a large soccer
The school. All right. It's part of the school. All right. Go ahead.
So this proposed trail would run on the north side of that soccer field. I can only speak from personal experience. I've goaltended for my son when he's hitting rockets toward a goal. And when he misses, it goes deep into those woods where this trail would be. And that's another risk that we're adding to this situation. Unless you add it would have to be a high fence to eliminate that situation. Dogs. If you run it along Keys the entire length, I have an idea 100% of the dogs that are being walked on there. And speaking from my subdivision, I'm one of seemingly 5 houses of the 100 that don't have dogs. So there's going to be a lot of dog traffic on there.
On the trail?
On the trail.
There is. I walk my dog on the
If you run it on Keys, they're going to be leashed. If you have it in a wooded area, I don't know what to expect in terms of dogs running free. And you've got, again, a playground that runs right inside.
I will speak
now. We don't have a problem with that now. The other
No, I will speak to this because I don't walk as far as you people and I don't ride bikes, but I just go on this little part over here. I don't like walk to Rockford or whatever. I stay in my lane over here. I have, and all I do is walk with my dog. I have not seen anybody that didn't have a dog on a leash, ever. You have? I'm just talking from my experience, but anyway, yeah. So.
Yeah, they're on Meadow Ridge property right now.
Are they?
Free, and that's why they put up the signs.
Well,
dogs
all right.
read signs very well.
Okay. What'd you say? I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Dogs don't read signs very well. So.
Well, I have a Doberman and he can, so that's just a Doberman. So go ahead. Sorry.
So
I get your point though.
Yeah,
I do.
I'd love an opportunity. I wish Dr. Matthews were here so he could field some of these questions. Unfortunately, he's not. If there really is going to be a vote here tonight, I would ask that you consider all the things that are raised here tonight.
Oh, 100%.
Shelve the vote and revisit it after we get a chance to talk to school board.
When does the school board meet next?
No.
When do they meet
Dr.
next
Matthews
time?
was going to be here, but he couldn't because of school board meeting tonight.
I'm sorry, he was planning to.
He wanted to be here, but he could not because.
Well, if somebody wants to call over there, and if they're still meeting, you run over there right now. And, I know I do. I do, and I appreciate all of this, and I get it. And I'm just telling you from what the school has said, this is where they will let us put it.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, here's the way it looks like to me, and I said this last time. Almost universally, people like the trail. They like the idea of connecting, and that's pretty, very, very, it's what you all want. And so we're going to find a way to do it. So when we go to these properties, and this isn't the only one, this isn't, so when the property says, this is where we will let you put it to get there, and looking at this, unless I'm wrong, the school's going to be involved one way or another, right? And so when they say, this is where we will let you put it, that's, if we want a trail, that's where it's got to go because it's their property. Is that right? So, yeah. So, you know.
And how many driveways are getting impacted right now running from Hickory to where it's going to jog north?
I'd have to look at the plans, probably.
Many. Would you agree?
Yeah, 7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah. So there's maybe 3 other homes that are going to be impacted.
Where's this on?
The stretch between where the trail would run north and if you continued along Keys to Cortland.
Oh, you're talking about on Keys?
Correct.
Yeah, even for that short section between the west side of Luton and the east side of Meadow Ridge.
Oh, I see what you're saying. If we went down there.
There's 3 houses.
There's 3.
And then went north on Cortland, and then you would just go, you'd still go on the west side of the school property though?
That's already built.
That's already built. All right. What is the issue there? Did we not get easements from those people, or was that?
No, there's just Rockford School was willing to let us have that off-road experience, and we thought that's much better than the road easement. They put in some new homes there. When we first started this project, there wasn't any homes there. They built new homes now, and they're fairly close to the road right-of-way. So when we build in the road right-of-way, we have the same problem we've had east of there, but we had no choice. So, I mean, it's possible, yes, but we're crossing more driveways and we're building a trail in people's front yard.
Which we don't want to do.
And Todd, too, just as you recall, it's been an iterative process from all the way back behind the school, all the way to Luton Park, to jumping forward along Keys as it needed to be. Right. And because we couldn't get that one easement from Creek, it went around. That's why any of it is on Keys. And so the goal was to get back to where the original route was as soon as possible.
Anything else?
Just wants versus needs.
Well, see, let me ask you about that, because I do want to understand that. When we talk about wants versus needs, this whole trail system is really a want, right? We don't need a trail to go to the store or whatever. So this is all a want, and the community really wants it, right? So how in your mind, and I'm serious about this, how in your mind do we balance? Because I think I'm right that this trail is a want, right? Right. I mean, the community wants it. We don't need it, but we do want it. Most people want it. So where do we balance that in your mind? How do we balance that?
Yeah, I look at it as a need to have the trail.
Okay.
Because it gives you
many
opportunities.
Okay, so all right.
It's a want to veer away from Keys and go through this beautiful nature setting on the.
So, okay, I think I get it now. Thank you. I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Who's next? I didn't pick up on that. Come on up. You can just come on up if you want and wait in line. Then you don't have to, because you've been getting up and down a lot because you're way in back.
Line, dude.
Go ahead.
Ryan, Old House 6486 Ramsey.
Yeah.
I guess I just came here to speak in support of the trail, but it sounds like there's plenty of support for the trail.
Yeah, there is.
I guess I would say that I hear everyone with children. We've got children ourselves. They're older and off to college now and stuff. But so I'm just going to speak to the usability of a trail that doesn't go across a lot of driveways.
Okay.
And there is something to be, I'm sure there's a ton of studies. In fact, got some friends in Boulder, Colorado that sit on some boards that do studies on this stuff. And the usability and the attractiveness for a community, for a trail that does go from point A to point B without crossing many roads is something we should definitely be considering. So regardless of, like playground, if that does need to be rerouted, great. But like not cutting across many driveways or intersections is a huge it's a huge like plus for any sort of bike trail, and
especially for the little ones, right?
Well, that, and
because
there's a whole nother conversation about class 1 and class 2 e-bikes that needs to happen at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay.
But and athletes, this guy raced the Iceman. This guy can probably average 17 miles an hour on a bike if he's on the right bike. Maybe 20. I don't.
Higher?
Hold your time, dude.
2 hours and 51 minutes.
Oh, not a bad time. So
that's, I don't know, but that sounds really impressive to me.
It is.
You can run.
It's impressive because I'm 67 and I finished.
So
yeah, that is great.
A mid-level athlete can average 17 miles an hour on a road bike or a gravel bike. And that's pretty fast when someone's late for work and they're coming out of their driveway, right? That's a risk there.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do know, because just the other day I'm walking there and I mean, they go fast. I mean, the serious bikers on there are some right on the trail. You'll see
a lot of like road groups will stick to the roads, and there's a big debate on whether or not we're putting all this money into bike lanes. Should they be on it? And a lot of times, no. If they can average 25 miles an hour, they should be on the road.
Roadies won't want to be on that trail.
Yeah, because you're crossing too many things.
Right.
Yes, they want to keep a consistent. But now with the advent of class 1 and class 2 e-bikes, and people modifying these e-bikes,
we allow e-bikes on the trail.
Yeah. But this is a big issue. Like, what is an e-bike? Is it a Suron? Those things will go 50. Is it a class 1 or class 2? Who's enforcing that? We shouldn't get lost in those weeds right now.
Well, thank you for bringing it up and telling us to ignore it.
Those are speeds.
You only allow class 1.
We only allow class 1.
We should only allow class 1.
We do.
Fantastic.
And that's what we do. So we're doing it right.
But I know a lot of people who can modify. Anyway, I guess I just came up to speak to the importance of as little of intersections as possible.
I agree with that.
Either roads or driveways. And that.
So would you be in favor of the Meadow Ridge piece?
I am hesitant to be really in favor of that because I understand these parents' concerns. Is that what we're talking about? The one around the school? Yep. Yeah, and I like the idea of the southern area. I would hate to delay anything because we do live in a very safe, relatively safe area. That's why we live here, right?
It's a very safe area, but not only can people use the trail too.
That's true, and safety of our children is important. Like I said,
well, the safety of the children to me is the most important thing.
Sure.
Now, so then the question is it a greater safety risk to put the trail off the road through the back of the school where the school wants it, the potential risk to kids in the playground, or is the greater risk to their safety having it cross driveways along a road? I don't know the answer.
I think I'm speaking to two different types of safety. I'm thinking I'm speaking when I comment on intersections, it's the safety of the cyclist and the users of the trail. And obviously, we've got a whole nother conversation about this.
We have to consider all the safety aspects, all of them, whether they're similar or not. So anything else?
No, that'll do.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Go.
Probably best you. When you're thinking about that speed, also, if we consider that that's going to be on the playground, also bikes are allowed. Imagine a child running into a ball too. So is that going to impede bike runs? If this child can run free from their playground.
Yeah,
in their accident. So that's what
I wouldn't be the one to speculate on that.
No, but I'm saying
Yeah.
the risk when we look at that for the biker or anybody on the
What'd you say? This is fine. All right. Okay. Who's next? You come up because you've been waiting. Go ahead. Name and address, please.
My name is Tyler Burke. I represent Blake and Amanda Miller. I'm an attorney from Butzel Long.
Mhm.
And Blake and Amanda Miller live on the north side of the school there, along with 9 or 10 other property owners. So what we're talking about in rerouting this is really 3 properties or 3 driveways there. But
On the north side?
It would be on the south side along Keese there.
Okay.
Crossing. We've gone over that. We've talked up here tonight about the existing sidewalk structure and how we can incorporate that. But I think an important point, and this was brought up at the last meeting, is that utility easement. I don't believe those easements would affect this. And if that went into the school board's decision into rerouting on the north side of the school instead of cutting across those power lines, I think that that's something to reconsider.
Where do you think it should go?
Either along Keys so you can connect into the Cortland existing sidewalk there, or you can go across the school property, the lot along Keys, and then up the side of the school property along the driveway there. So there's a utility easement that exists near that area and then on the north side of those 3 Keys properties. And I believe there's a comment made that Consumers Energy wouldn't allow that. But the easement just says no buildings, no structures, which would impede the school's ability really to build anything in that space anyways, instead of using this for a more secure route for the trail.
Scott, we've talked about that. Consumers Energy. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, we had conversations with Consumers Energy, and you're right. There's some of them that are property directly owned by Consumers Energy, and sometimes there's easements that are also owned by Consumers Energy. In this case, Consumers Energy has the final right to let us build a path on an easement. They usually do it as part of a license agreement because they won't grant you an easement over their easement. The license agreement is usually $1,000 a year in perpetuity. So I think that was part of it. But also in this case, they just flat out really weren't too happy with the thought of a pathway in that easement. I don't know if it had to do with the type of electronic transmission lines that are up there or what, but the conversations were not really thrilled with that.
These easements are incredibly old and they are not very restrictive in the property rights. It just says that no buildings or structures can be erected in that area. A sidewalk is neither of those. So if the school relied on any of that information, I don't think that the easement says that what the township wants to do there would not be allowed.
I don't think the school was involved with the conversation about that route. I don't think they went that route either.
So if they weren't presented with another alternative route, I think that's something to bring to the school board's attention then before we vote on this.
Well, the route that
Concerns of safety.
we did discuss the southern route. We did discuss going along that near about that easement, so on the southern side. And they said they don't know what their future development plans are for that entire area, which could include an expanded parking lot or something along our playgrounds or whatever toward the south. And they wanted to keep it undisturbed by any permanent infrastructure that the township would want.
So going down Keys and then up north to the west side of the school property line still would not interfere with any of that property use. The easement would interfere with building
Correct,
a playground or a parking lot, but based on
so
the
now
easement
you're talking
language
about a
itself.
third route, which is further south, going around the houses.
So no, if you went further down Keys towards the west, up the property line
Correct,
of the
yep,
school,
yep.
and then down the south side where the driveway currently is located.
Yes.
Those would be feasible routes that wouldn't interfere with the school's use.
That-
Wouldn't be on the school's parking lot.
We're
or on
also
the
discussed with the school, and the school wanted the northerly route. So I just want to. The only thing I'm speaking against is the idea that you're implying that somehow alternatives were not correctly presented. To
Yeah,
them.
just so everybody knows
we
that.
had very thorough discussions with the school.
Yes. So everybody needs to know this was for years, right?
Yes.
All of these were explored with the school. Am I right on that? And this is what the school came up with, and what is by necessity because of easement issues and so on. right? And this is where we are.
But if the easement wouldn't, on the very language of the easement, prevent an alternative path, and the school board wasn't presented with that information, that would be concerning.
Did the school, I don't know what they considered. I'm just telling you what
The school was not involved with it. We worked on the easement prior to this last iteration with the school, correct, Scott?
That's correct.
Because we actually, I proposed, because we really wanted to go up the west side of Luton and then through that parcel. And, you know, when you stand there, you look at it like, oh, it's wide open space under these power lines. Let's run that straight west over to. That was my idea, which quickly got shot down because there's a lot of private property that runs under there. So we'd have to get two easements. We have to get an easement from consumers and an easement from those property owners. And then further west, it didn't work either. So that kind of got shot down.
Based on the survey, at least available through Kent County, it looks like the entire path could run on the south side of the school and then down the west side of the school property there. Potentially without hitting an easement.
If that's where the school,
again, that's where the school doesn't know what they're going to do with that property.
and if you can get them to say we don't want to do anything with that property, that's fine. Whatever it's on the school property, so we are. I at least feel like I am bound. I got a decision: is it going to be somewhere on that school property, or is there going to be a trail? Right. That's the way it looks like to me, given the easement issues. So what I'm trying to figure out in my mind, do I even want to vote for a trail here if the school says this is where it has to go? So my view is if the school changes its mind, or if someone gets to the school and says this is where I don't know, I mean, start the whole thing over, I guess, but whatever. That's where I am on it, because again, either there's going to be a trail, and if there is, the school tells us where they want it, period. For me, anyway, right? Isn't that about it?
I mean, you're certainly welcome to, if you want to negotiate with consumers, you're welcome to call them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come back and see us.
Yes.
Did they denied they said no easement
No.
there? Okay.
Yes. The answer to that was yes. They said no.
I said, yeah, they said no, but,
Right.
but
Okay.
feel free to call them.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe you'll get it done. That'd be great.
That would be wonderful. Who's next? Name and address, please.
Alex Lloyd, 7374 Loma Linda Drive, Rockford.
Hello.
I'm a avid biker. I love using the trails. So
Good.
I'm pro the trails. As far as the driveways, as a biker, we're always at risk of getting hit by cars backing out of their driveways. That's something that's a big deal. Super involved with my local riding team. I would say that's a lovely location. If there is pushback as far as maybe there should be a fence there, behind the school, in front of the playground, stop the kids going one way and stop other people going the other way. But it certainly would be nicer to go that way than cross all those driveways. So that would just be my
Perfect.
opinion.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And did I hear you race the Iceman also?
Yes, 221.
Come on up. Name and address, please.
Brad Strew at 6280 5 Mile Road.
Mhm.
So pretty close to here.
Mhm.
Just kind of give a little quick background. I volunteer with West Michigan Mountain Biking Association, help manage the Canonsburg State Game Area. I volunteered with Ted here locally.
You were here when we were talking about paving 5 Mile.
I was.
Mhm.
Here I am again.
And you were very helpful on that too.
Very heavily involved with the mountain biking community
Mhm.
as well locally. Personally use the paved trails, not only for cycling and with others that quite big into cycling and riding gravel, as we talked about with 5 Mile, using the trails throughout Cannon Township. But also I use them daily walking my dog, quite literally, all the different ones within the township. And some of the concerns I have, I understand the concerns with the proposed route. And again, just what was addressed recently, ideally, the least amount of driveways and intersections is going to be the safest for everybody, especially those using the trail, whether pedestrians, whether riders, kids, everyone. So definitely want that considered heavily. And the other thing, just wanted to see if there's any way we can address, because with the daily use of this, I was wondering if there's any way, if it hasn't already been considered, to allocate the resources in order to make sure that these trails are properly trimmed, because I often run into, especially after say May, June, picker bushes, things are really overgrowing into the trail system. I've often noticed even near Townsend, especially, like one side of the grass will be mowed, the other won't, and it can be cumbersome to get out of the way, as there are many different users, some cyclists, some walkers, some people with dogs. Making sure that is pushed back. When we do the trail trimming, we push back 2 to 3 feet on each side. But again, I've noticed this has been an ongoing issue. And the other thing for everybody's safety that I'd like to bring up again is, if there's any way, I know not everybody reads signs, but signs informing cyclists to slow down for pedestrians. I'm a rider myself, and I'm also a walker with my dog. But again, some of these hilly areas, especially, and some of these, it's flat paved, people can get moving very quickly, but just some sort of notice if there's any way we can do that.
Can I address a couple things? First, I hear your point about the trail being trimmed back. I'm assuming your reference is more than a year and a half or 2 years ago, because we just did a trim on the whole trail. We cut everything back 2 feet with a big brush hog, and we hired a maintenance person that now goes on that trail about every day and mows it back. And we were using Kent County for a while to mow the trail.
Okay.
And they were coming out of Townsend Park. I don't know what expectations were set with them prior to my arrival, but there were things like, if a stick was that big around, they wouldn't get off the mower to move it. They would mow around it, which that was not acceptable. So those things are not happening anymore. We're trimming all the briars back, all the vines that are growing over those retaining walls. We've been cutting all those back. So we've been working really hard. The autumn olive, which is one that also on that stretch there, I call it the cruder stretch. It's between Sunfish and Ramsdale.
Yep.
We've been cutting all that autumn olive back. So your point is well taken there, and that's something we're going to continue to keep doing.
Okay.
Also, you mentioned the trail education. This is a sign we're in the process of making right now. We're going to be putting those all the stop signs on the trail everywhere. So as people slow down before a crossing, they'll have a chance to take a look at it. And what it does is there's 3 basic etiquettes. If you want to take a look at that closer, you're welcome to.
Is it on the back of the?
It is on the communicator.
Yep.
One of them is speed. Speed is very important. We're saying here that go a safe speed, 5 to 10 miles an hour when others are present, and a 15-mile-an-hour max when clear. So it's just about education.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people that use the trail just have never had the opportunity to learn what the right way to use it is. So we're hoping to try to promote better etiquette on the trails.
Fantastic. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet.
Who's next? Come on up.
I'm Mark Altman, 8120 Rum Creek Trail. I spoke to Todd the other day and appreciate your willingness to work with us. Our road, as it comes up on Key Road, when that road was approved and that settlement was put in there, the road was not put in to standards. It's a lane and a half wide, and up there it's very dangerous coming in and out. And with a bike path there, it's going to further complicate things. So we need to work close to get a product when we're done there that's safe for the road and the people on Rum Creek Trail coming in and out.
Is it scheduled to go across your drive there right now?
Across the road.
What this is? Okay.
Yes. And we have a sign with landscaping there that gets close to where the path is going to go. And also our road dips down within 10 feet of where Rum Creek is, and there's kind of a curve there because when they did the road repairs to improve the sight distance there, they curbed that up to run the water down to the bottom of the hill. So that curb needs to stay there so all the water doesn't come down, but it's also going to make our hill going up steeper than what it is now. So that's something that we need your help with to make sure it doesn't get worse, but it gets better as we go through this.
We can work with them on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. We have it laid out somewhat what you're talking about.
Yeah. Your drawing shows our road coming up and kind of curving to the right. It doesn't do that. It comes straight on. So it's even more severe of an angle of approach.
We'll definitely look closely at that.
But we need to work together.
They will work with you on that.
So when I talked to you the other day, I mentioned that Scott and I would love to come out and take a look at that, and we'll just walk the property. We'll show you the elevations and what the plan is, and if there's anything we need to do to make sure we mitigate the water running down that hill, we're glad to do that.
Okay.
We're gonna leave it better than we found it.
Excellent.
And if that sign needs to be moved in the landscaping, we'll do that also for you.
Okay. And there may be some trees that may be taken down to help things out in that area to make a better approach and entrance and exit from Rum Creek Trail.
We'll do that. No problem.
The other question I have is right now, Luton Park gets locked up every night, gets unlocked in the morning. And this
there he is right there.
Michael.
Right,
Yeah,
he's behind you.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's my man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
He volunteers, by the way, to do this every night at Luton Park. So
Right.
thank you so much.
how will that be?
Oh, do they pay you?
performed?
Okay. Okay. It's not much though, if I remember. It's probably okay.
So how will that keep bikers out of the park? For instance, we had this summer some kids who thought it'd be cool to move some stones around by the gate so they could get in there, have a little camp party during the night, have a fire in the barrel, and then they tried to get out and made a ruckus, and Mike had to come let them out. Now with the bikes and shortening up that parking lot, there's going to be more people who are going in there and be able to camp overnight with no gates to block it off.
Will there still be a gate there?
There's still a gate there. Yep.
But they can come in on the bike path.
So yeah. So here's the deal with trails. People are going to use it, and it's not going to be. I'm just telling you, like when we did the first phase over here in Bear Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it was. Wait a minute, you're putting this in our neighborhood, and trails affect people. They just do. And so we have to balance the whole thing. So I think we mitigate these issues as much as we can. But if somebody really wants to get into Luton when the park is closed, they will probably be able to find a way.
Well, and the
Whether
other
the
part
trails
is
there or
that,
not.
that
With whether the trails
Whether the
there or
trails
not.
are not.
Newton Park decided that bikers should go on the north end. So they built a big parking lot with access
Yes.
to all the trails.
Mhm.
Well, this is going to move bikers down to the south end, where now they want the south end of the prairie to be footpaths, not bike traffic.
Actually, I couldn't speak to that. They are actually making that parking lot smaller with the idea in mind of continuing to encourage people who are bikers to the north side. They want to keep bikers on the north side, walkers on the south side.
Right. But then the part of losing parking spaces is when there's an event there. For instance, I host 2 woodcock walks in April. We get 30 to 35 people, and there's not enough room for parking for them. And then the township or the parks also do 2 woodcock walks. So there's another, and they have other events during the year, and you need more than 15 parking spots to accommodate the people.
But that's a perfect example. If we increase the parking lot there, then it's going to have a negative effect, like you said, with people coming in to use that. But if we make it smaller,
What I'm saying is run the path south of the gate.
Is that where it's going to go? I don't
No, it's
Actually,
going
for
to go north
safety,
of the gate.
yeah, that's for safety reasons. We didn't want to cross that driveway there.
Yeah.
Going up around the north side of that parking lot, it stops me from crossing.
You're crossing how many other driveways? And the park
It's
driveway doesn't
inevitable to
get
cross
used
some driveways, but
as much as Rum Creek Trail gets used.
for every driveway we save, we have to cross driveways. It's inevitable, but if we can minimize it the best we can, we try.
And again, Todd, just to emphasize, that's where Kent County Parks wanted it. I know we keep
That's
going
true.
back to that.
That is true.
We had meetings with Brian Mulligan, with Dan DeLoof, and with Ben Swayze, up to the director of Kent County Parks, and they wanted it at that north side of the parking area, specifically to reduce the size. And then also, we're putting in a little a little bench area on
Right.
the side.
A rest area.
A rest area, yes, which
Right.
will also limit the number of people who see it as according to Kent County Parks, who see it as a mountain bike entrance.
Yeah.
One of our main problems
Yeah.
here is we are crossing private property all over the place, and we have to listen to the people that own the property, right? That's why it's routed to a large extent the way it is, because some people have said no.
Well,
they won't give us an easement. And so on the other properties, we have to listen to what they say, like the county and the school.
the Parks is happy to have it go across their property, and that's good. I
And
like
it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So,
but we put it where they want it. Okay. What
and-
else you got?
The other thing is that we do our woodcock walk there. The habitat in there for woodcock is unbelievable. The number of woodcock that are in there,
Mhm.
and this is going to go and damage some of that habitat that the woodcock use back in there for their breeding grounds.
Oh.
And because on both sides of Keys, there are nesting every single spring of woodcock, and you go out there and find them every night and hear them sing and dance and do their thing. But this is going to lose some of that habitat for the woodcock. And when Harry Luton donated this property, it was for a wildlife sanctuary, not a people center. And it's turning into more of let's do bike paths and not leave it as a wildlife sanctuary.
Okay. Thank you. Who's next? Come on up.
Hi, Jim Flanders, 7975 Hickory Drive. I do have the trail coming through my front yard.
You have a what?
I have the trail coming through my front yard. It is.
You have a, I'm sorry, you have a
I have
what?
the trail coming through.
The trail coming through. Right, you do.
I do.
That's not our choice, by the way.
And I understand that. I heard it tonight a lot about keeping the nature about the trail and enhancing that. I have a dozen trees that'll get impacted by this.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them will get trimmed. Some of them will get taken out entirely.
That's not true, right, Scott?
None of the trees will come out.
Is there a revised plan?
Even at the current, it hasn't been revised yet because I wait till all at once to make all the changes. But even at its current location, I won't touch any of the trees because they're on your property.
And we're in the road right away.
And we're in the road right away.
So then the root bulbs, the drip line, all that, we don't have to worry about any of the trees themselves and the health of them in a sense.
That's another question altogether. But the road right away, and I had this conversation with you with email, which was also part of the minutes, township minutes a few weeks ago, and that is that just because it's planted on private property, the right of way is in use for number one, transportation facilities, number two, utilities, and the like. And if the gas main or electric main wanted a underground thing, they would trench right through there as well. So I will say that in the 30 years I've been doing this, I have very few. I could probably count on one hand the number of trees that we thought were going to die actually die. I think that there's a greater concern for the death of a tree than actually what happens.
Okay. So in general, our community, my neighborhood, have asked that the trail is the roadway. And I know there's some safety concerns with that.
There are.
It's a quarter mile. It has a sharp 90-degree turn in it.
Jim contacted the road commission on that idea because last time you brought that up and I said we would consider all these things, which we always do. So what did you find out from the road commission about putting a trail in right in the road?
They absolutely will not paint the trail, paint a line in the road for the trail. Absolutely will not. If we put the trail in the road, just say, hey, it goes down that side of the road, they will not take any liability. They say it's an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And they just will not do it.
Well, the cul-de-sac and the current plans
They
call for
any residential, any road, they will not do it. From the director of the Kent County Road Commission, Jerry.
All right. So go ahead.
Understood. Part of the current design has the pathway in the roadway, and it's at the cul-de-sac.
It's in the road?
It's in the road.
It's a crossing.
It's a crossing.
The end of the cul-de-sac bulbs out, and so it has to cross it.
It has to cross the road. Okay.
There's no road there. It's a cul-de-sac. It's the turn at the bottom of it. It's painted lines.
It's actually outside of the roadway. It's in the turning flares.
Splitting hairs now.
Well, so is an intersection crossing.
What's that?
So is an intersection crossing. It's in the road it's going north.
I mean, you got to get the trail where it's going to end. And this Hickory thing was not our choice.
I get it. And I've heard a lot about how this has been going on for years.
Mm-hmm.
First time I got contacted about it was in July. I come here and look at the prints and I see that the plans are date stamped in February. I know that, was it Springer who donated the land or allowed the easement? That happened back in probably 2019, 2020. Mm-hmm. I contacted the township when that happened, when the trail was going in, asking what's happening with the trail. And I didn't get any answers, but tonight I hear that there's communications with the school board, that there's communications with other easements, but the property owners on Hickory, and we all know where it's going, and we think it's going over to Luton Park. It's a quarter-mile stretch, but nobody comes and consults with us. No one talks with us. We're 6 houses. I mean, I understand that you're
Explain
waiting.
that one, though, Todd, because that came up before, would you?
It comes up. I've explained this many times. So I don't know who you tried to get a hold of prior to my arrival. And I can't speak to that. So I don't know why.
I have the email if you'd like to have it.
It doesn't matter to me. It's too bad nobody replied to you because that's not the way we do things in Cannon Township.
I was just going to explain. He replied. He just didn't have any information to share.
Okay. Go ahead.
I don't know why, but that's neither here nor there. I have nothing to do with that. But what I do have something to do with, and that's what I've explained to you, is that we really have nothing to talk about until we have something to talk about. So there really is no reason to engage all the public and get everybody all riled up or start discussions on what ifs when we don't even know where the trail is going to go. We have to go through the process of engineering and surveying and understanding what the impacts are, what the soil's like, what the trees are like, all those kinds of things. So I contacted you in July. You say we never talked to you. I talked to you as soon as we had the plan and we knew that it was going to run on that west side. Prior to that, John, I talked to you because we wanted to go up your backyard and you wouldn't let us go up the backyard. We wanted to buy that easement from you, and you and Al wouldn't let us go up that backyard. So we had no choice but to run along Hickory. And originally we were going to run on that east side of the road, and we went out, we talked about it. That was 2 years ago, was it? Probably the first time I met with you, year and a half. Okay, whenever. So, and then you had a very good point. You said, the sight lines are much better on on that west side. So you and I walked up to that stop sign, and you're correct. If you stand on that west side of that intersection, you look east, you look east and west, your sight lines are much better, and it's a safer place to cross. So
that's why that's why then you went to.
I mean, that goes to my point of what you're engaging certain individuals in my neighborhood, but not me.
Because we weren't going at that point. We weren't going on your side of the road. There's no reason to even talk
my
to you.
side of the road with my neighbor, and I don't hold anything against
No. That's not true.
That's not true.
That's what she just.
No, it's not.
That's not true. I talked to him because it's going in front of his house. And then we decided that it wasn't going to go in front of his house. And then I had to go back and retreat and do engineering and surveying on the other side of the road. And then as soon as I got that completed, that's when we engaged you.
Here's the thing. We have talked about this several times.
Yeah, we have.
Move on to something else because we have heard it several times.
Okay.
Are you for the trail?
I do like the trail.
Okay, good.
I just don't like the way the process is played out.
All right, that's fair.
Haven't been engaged.
You have said that to us several times. Todd's explained it several times. Do you have anything new?
I do have something new.
What is that?
I believe that ADA is not being requirements are not being met at Luton Park and other parks.
That's the county. You'll have to take it up with the county.
But you're putting the trail through, which is going to put them at risk.
If the county is not complying with ADA, you're going to have to talk to the county about because it's their park.
Is the trail?
Scott, is our trail comply with ADA?
Okay, so that's a tricky question. In its strictest sense, one could say no, and that's where you're coming from. But the reality of it is that ADA is flexible, and that ADA allows a general conformance to the natural ground. We're not meeting the strictest sense of an ADA grade of 5% or less. However, we are minimizing the damage to existing ground and staying close. In fact, ADA allows up to an 8.3% grade, and I think our max grades are 6 or 7. So in the spirit of the ADA laws, we are absolutely meeting ADA. In the strictest sense of grades, you can't. It's like trying to create a hiking trail up Pikes Peak and making it ADA.
So we would have to move a lot of dirt, and we would have to grade, and
correct,
and right, and
so
we are
access to the trail ADA compliant from the parking lot, because right now it's gravel.
Here's what I don't explain that because we're getting way down into the thing. Here's the deal: we comply with the law when we put it in, right?
Correct.
Period.
But if you read the federal guidelines, they require you to have a one barrier free for every 25.
Okay, fine.
So,
we listen to our engineer. Our engineer follows the law. We trust our engineer. And if they don't follow the law, I'm sure somebody will tell them.
Well,
okay.
We weren't commissioned to design a trailhead for the. We're using existing Kent County facilities, and they have decided not to upgrade that to ADA compliance.
You're talking about at Luton?
Correct.
Okay.
And so therefore, it really has nothing to do with the bike path.
All right. What else do you have?
Well, okay. Then the cemetery parking lot.
Where?
It's off of Sunfish Lake.
Okay. What about it?
Well, the point being is that the existing structure there is not ADA compliant.
Okay, fine. What else do you have?
Okay. Nothing else, I guess.
Okay. Thank you. Who's next?
Michael Treon, 6040 Key Street, corner of Crabapple Court and Key Street, and we're right. I obviously closed the gate. You explained that already. Coming off of Hickory, the crossing of Key Street is going to be one of the worst dangerous possible places you can ever pass bikers across.
Where is this now? Where it
When
crosses
you have to
Keys?
cross Key Street, and I'm going to just tell you, because every time I come home, the minimum speed that I have people driving behind me when I have to turn on my road is 70 miles per hour. So good luck coming around the blind curve with that crossing if we don't have really good signage. What's in place for that, and who takes care of that signage? Kent County Road Commission?
Signage is part of the bike path plan, and it'll be maintained by the township.
Are we planning, I haven't seen it, it may be in there, so real quick on this, are we going to see a very well laid out painted lines, massive hello
Correct.
there,
It's
people
signs,
here?
yes,
I
correct.
mean,
Lights.
just
Is it going to have lights?
No lights.
it's got to be it's got to be something, because
We should have lights there. That's a
yes,
busy
please,
road.
thank you.
Kent
because-
County, you'd have to talk to Kent County on that. Kent
Can you
County
get
does not
Kent
allow
County
rapid
Road
flashing.
Well, here's the thing.
I don't know.
Here's the thing about it, and we have to do something, because just putting signs up, I will tell you right now, 50% of the people who walk their dogs in Luton Park, because I walk my dog, I'm on a leash, they are not. And Ken and I talk about this all the time, and he says it to me. He says, don't get agitated and don't confront, because you can't hand out citations. We don't have somebody to cite people. They're not going to read the signs. We have a now bigger sign, which is a really cool sign, telling them now why. It's not just because. So I'd love to make sure that crossing is beefed up.
It will be.
Okay. It's super dangerous. That's one. Two.
But it has to cross Keys.
It has to. No. And I'm for the bike path. I love it. I think it's great.
Everybody. So that I'm
just safety. So
yeah, I totally agree with you. So that's really what it comes down to. We got to make this as safe as
right. As it comes down through the park, same thing. We're going to be drawing people, and we don't want there. We can't avoid that. That's just going to happen. I was there, the two incidents the last 2 months, one in September, one in October. In October, I had a guy at 1 a.m. come in with his dump trailer and try and illegally dump a huge amount of sand in the parking lot, because it was one night I didn't close the gate that we now have because of the meteor shower. We left it open. Kent County Parks provides sometimes for invite people to do things at night, like the woodcock walks and all these great things. So we just have to be mindful of watching. As community members, we're going to have to watch out for each other, inviting people in. We're going to have we're going to have to watch the park. We're going to have to watch around the school. We're going to have to watch for our biker friends who are crossing our driveways, because it's still going to cross 8 driveways, 8 or 3 more, or the 6 houses on Hickory. Bikers are there. We're all walking our dogs. I know nobody wants anybody to get hurt in their community, and we got to watch out for people who roam in who aren't in the community, because you're going to know them right away. You're going to see them. You're going to know them. I see them. I'm out there at 1 a.m. sometimes dealing with people.
I can't tell the difference between somebody that lives in Cannon and somebody who doesn't. How do you do that?
I can when it's 1 a.m. and I recognize that the license plates don't match cars that I've seen there during the times that I'm there at that park, and they pull in. And then when I ask them, "Oh, are you from around here?" No, I just.
Well, that's different. You ask them. Okay.
But my point is,
different.
do you see what I'm saying? So with all these provisions, I'm hoping that we're building in all these things to try and invite the ability for people to traverse all the way to downtown Rockford on this path from Hickory in a way that's going to make sense for our neighbors. And for me, the last thing I'm going to say is I wish, and I already brought it up to my superiors at Kent County Parks, they would enclose all the way around that parking lot a hard stop so people cannot drive onto the prairie. Because I'm going to tell you right now, in September, 2 cars drove all the way up to the lookout. And if we had a fence, that an actual full metal gate that
around
them around it, they would not drive into, which everybody says, they would not drive into that ravine to drive in the prairie, because the next thing that's going to happen is they're going to get stuck.
Talk to the county.
I know.
That's a county issue, right?
I know it is. I'm just saying, somebody back me up on this somewhere. Somebody back me up and help me talk to somebody, because
Katie DeBoer is our county commissioner.
We need to complete the gate all the way around that thing. So when people are parking there, they park in there. And then when I close that gate, when I close the gate, I have people drive around the gate to go in and hang out in there. Really? I mean, is that what we're doing? So
that's what they're doing. I mean, I don't know how. That's the thing with trails is people are where they normally aren't.
But there are ways that we can prevent automobiles from going onto that prairie, because if that's the next step, it's going to destroy even more habitat, and it's going to create more problems. So
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next?
Hi, good evening, Keegan King, 5400 Royale Court. Just to be clear, I am pro trail, love them, but Yeah, here's my. I share a lot of the concerns of the other people in this room this evening, as far as the safety with the playground back there, and that goes both ways. Being there, I live right next to it. That area is used for a multitude of things. There's people that hit golf balls out there routinely. So, being someone who enjoys the trail, and someone who lives there, I think that goes both ways. And I hear a lot of things like that's where the school wanted it. I would love to know if the concerns of some of the people here were shared at depth with Dr. Stevens. And the biggest thing I'd say and asked of the board is just take it cautiously. Sometimes better, measure twice, cut once type of deal. When we're doing this, I don't know if there's truly no other option for it. We want the beautification of the trail. I don't know if all the trees are going to get cut back there. Like
No.
I like them too, but maybe there's a happy medium somewhere where we could have a fence. My kids go to Parkside, they go to Roguewood. I tell you what, like if there wasn't a fence there, I would be very concerned with some of the playground back there. So maybe there's some kind of happy medium we could have if it has to go there. Hey, maybe we can put up a fence. Let's put some trees up. Maybe have a buffer between those areas back.
Isn't there going to be a buffer there of trees?
Yeah, actually, we're not taking any of the big trees out. So the trail is actually going to wind around all the mature trees back there.
So it's going to go through the trees back there?
Yes.
But again, maybe a fence. And I think that's another concern I have is there's just some of this information. I feel like we are at the goal line here of this thing.
Yeah.
And maybe that's me.
I feel like we keep getting penalized, and we're backing it up.
Yeah.
These are all really good comments, but I want to give you an example of how far things can go. And these are all very good, and I'm listening very carefully because the thing with the kids and the playground is very important. But I got a call. This is how far things can go. I got a call when Blake was out last year. When the county was doing, they would sweep the trail. Because it used to be that we would just let the trail in the winter be there. And people said, no, I want to use it. Well, cross-country skiers that came in and they're like, you can't sweep the trail because we can't use it. Then these other people said, but we want to walk it. So people are pissed off no matter what we do. That's just the way it goes. We're going to piss people off. And I know this, but here's the thing. So this guy called me and he said, I live over near the trail and I can hear them sweeping it. And I said, okay, well, they got to sweep it because that's what we do. And he goes, well, I don't want you to sweep it. And I said, well, but people, it's not safe because slipping, whatever. And he goes, well, I got a solution for you. And I said, okay. And he goes, put a roof on it. And I said, put a roof on what? And he said, the trail. And I said, it's like, what, 8 miles or something, And he said, so? And I said, all right, thank you. But so none of you have gone that far, but my point on this is there's always some opinions that will speak against doing the trail. So people will always say, oh, I'm for it, but I want you to do something that will make that it can't happen, is what I'm saying. So we are listening to all these things. It may not look like it, but these people have spent years working out all of these issues. And this is where we are after all of that work, right? And Scott, our engineer, it's not like we just went out last week and said, hey, let's run it through here, right? These are all options that we have exhausted everything. It's like Sherlock Holmes said in The Sign of Four, when you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. That's kind of where we are, right? Because all the other options have pretty much been, right, dealt with. And this is where we are, because people with issues with easements, they don't want it on this and they don't want it here. And we're bound by what the owners say. So honestly, I think it's been tremendous work to get it to connect, given all the properties it has to go through. But we're listening to all these things, and we have to make a decision. And there's an election in 2 years, so there you go. So maybe that's what it, So do you have anything else?
Maybe I shouldn't have been last in line here, but
it's all right. Take your time. You're fine. You may not be last.
Oh, yeah. All right, perfect. No, I hear things where it's just like, hey, we've gone this far and there's nothing to talk about.
There is no perfect solution.
And I get it. This is a gargantuan effort. And I appreciate all of you doing it.
Some
of the information, I think that's maybe just as a resident, just some things that love to have that. Like, hey, there's going to be trees. There's going to be a buffer between the school. Maybe that solves all our problems. And
Yeah.
some of us aren't even here talking about it, you know?
Well, no, these are all very helpful. Because I got my own thoughts on it. I'm developing as we talk. So, but I'm going to talk when we're done, but you all go first. So
thank you for
thank you. And if you think of something else, come on up. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
Hi.
I'm short.
Yes, you are. It's okay though.
So I'm Kate Wiltrout. I live at 7889 Hickory Drive.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So I did send a letter to you, Jessica, because just today
Mhm.
we received, one of the people on our street that I know of anyway, received a notification that we could we could send in additional letters. A brief message came out from you. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's just my personal newsletter. That's technically not township stuff. I just really like enjoy sharing
So
that.
I'm
no, but
saying
go. What
I
did you say?
appreciate the
No.
fact
Yeah.
that we had someone take the initiative
Mhm.
to let us know. I have talked with Todd twice, and our neighborhood has met with him as well as Scott. Thank
Mhm.
you. Sorry.
I like being forgettable.
But I do want to I'm going to continue to make my statement because I think that even if you have heard these same words, it's important that you hear them again, as well as maybe some of the words wouldn't have been necessary if communication was better. Because even in our first meeting with you and on our road indicated that the decision was made. And we decided, unfortunately, I couldn't attend because of a family emergency, but, we decided as a group, we would send, some of the people would attend, finding out that wasn't really the fact. We could still give public
I'm
information.
sorry. I misunderstood. I think I misunderstood. I'm sorry to interrupt. What did? Who said the decision was made before they talked
told
to you?
us you are here only as part of being a good neighbor.
That is
but
correct.
the plans were made,
The
and that you
preliminary
wouldn't
plans are
share
made.
them with us until the plans were finalized.
That's not true either.
But my point is not.
Okay.
I don't want to defame Todd. I'm trying to give you facts.
Well, that's
So
what I
when-
want to know what the
yeah.
facts are, because when you said that, I wanted to know if that was
Sure.
a fact.
Sure.
So what I said was the plans are preliminary. The board has not voted.
Mhm.
We've spent a long time coming up with these plans. I don't know how the board's going to vote, but this is where we are right now.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So, there were two reasons. I am a fairly new resident within the last 5 years to Cannon Township. I selected Cannon Township for two reasons. I came from a 10-plus acre property that had many other acres attached to it that we had full use of because we had great neighbors, and it worked really nice for us. So when we moved north, I wanted a place that had two things: somewhere to walk. Personally, I prefer the natural trail to the paved trail, but that's my personal preference, as well as somewhere that gave the idea of a small neighborhood keeping in trees, the natural habitat around. So I understand that that's what you're looking for. My point will be that this plan doesn't meet any of that. You're crossing half the houses in our neighborhood, all of the neighborhood, all of the houses on Keys to get to the school, except for those three. So we didn't meet the requirement, but I will also read my prepared statement.
Go ahead.
So I'm asking the board to reconsider the proposal of a paved sidewalk extension to the public trail along our street. Hickory Drive is a short, quarter-mile long, dead-end road with only 7 homes and already provides safe pedestrian facilities. Today, continually, people come from the existing end of the trail over to Luton Park. Happens every day. The kids, our neighbor children, play in the street on a regular basis. The time that you gentlemen were there, no one came down our street. So I understand what they're saying. They don't want to take the state or the county doesn't want to take liability. But are you taking liability if something happens on the trail today? Is Cannon Township taking liability?
Yeah. Well, we are. I mean, anything that runs along a road would be considered a sidewalk, which is an exception to the governmental immunity.
Which means what? I'm sorry.
Well, which means if there's a defect in what we put a sidewalk along a road, the governmental immunity would protect us unless there was a defect in the sidewalk. So when Jim said they don't want to take the liability for a government is only subject to the exceptions to governmental immunity.
So it's no difference for the county as it would be.
I don't know what I don't know. Go ahead.
Based on what you're saying, that's my presumption. Okay. Extending the trail with a sidewalk would remove and or damage mature trees, a natural space disturbing the neighborhood's quiet residential character, and uses taxpayer money for a project that offers limited benefits. Again, we are less than or about a quarter of a mile. In addition, an ongoing maintenance of paving, mowing the sides, clearing the path, snow removal would add unnecessary cost to the township. Whether you have the money saved or not, it's money spent unnecessarily. I strongly urge the board to reconsider the proposed plan. Using the existing street space for the trail route between better serves the community without impacting its existing neighborhood. I would also like to make a statement. I work for a school district. I had a conversation with some of my fellow staff about what we would feel like if this was coming through. I know the school board said what they said. I'm not sure that the community as a whole, regardless if you have students, I have no students there, and I wouldn't want that path accessed. I rode the Thornapple Trail. It comes right next to TK School as well.
Mm-hmm.
And as a person in education, walking that path, I said, are these people crazy to invite people into a public space where we spend all this time and effort trying to keep our kids safe? So I'm not saying that you don't have their approval. I'm asking that this sounds like it should stay open. I know I want it finished too, but it should stay open until at least there is an opportunity for the community to talk to the school board and understand why they made the decision that they made.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Who's next? Name and address, please.
Akiko Flanders, 7975 Hickory Drive. I'm going to echo some of what Kathy said, but I'm going to read this statement so I can stay on task.
Go ahead.
So I am submitting the statement in response to the proposed construction of the 8-foot wide multi-use path along our road. The goal of our neighborhood is to ensure that the township decision-making reflects accurate data, genuine community support, fiscal responsibility, and context-sensitive planning consistent with Cannon Township's values and rural character. Cannon Township has a total population of 14,413 residents, of whom 10,378 are adults eligible to participate in township surveys. This previous survey received 407 responses if you include us, which would be 7 on Hickory Drive, representing only 3.9% of the adult population. This means that over 96% of the eligible residents did not respond, indicating that the survey results should be interpreted with caution, not viewed as a mandate of community-wide support. So with that 407 responses on a 5-point Likert scale, with ratings of 1 being the most desirable and 5 being the least, 153 people said a 1, 100 people said 2, 85 said 3, 31 said 4, 31 said 5, and then there's the 7 of us on Hickory Drive that emphatically oppose this trail coming through our neighborhood. While 83.1% of respondents rated the connection as somewhat to highly desirable if we take into account 1 to 3, this represents only 3.3% of all adult residents in Cannon Township. Therefore, this data cannot be generalized as a broad township-wide support, particularly since the survey question did not specify the route locations or mention our drive. As Kathy stated, we're a quiet rural residential road measuring 27 feet wide with 7 homes that are situated on 2-acre or larger parcels. This is not a through street nor a collector road. The traffic is limited to the residents, mail and delivery services, or occasional utility or waste vehicles. Over decades of residence on this drive, there have been no reported safety incidents involving pedestrians or cyclists. Children, our kids, we've been there for 20 years. We've got kids there now. They play and bike in the road without any concern. These observations strongly suggest that Hickory Drive does not present a safety risk warranting structural intervention. Meanwhile, there's not going to be a change in the traffic pattern on Hickory Drive. There's just going to be potentially more people on the trail. The recreation survey did not ask residents whether they supported adding a trail on this specific street. So using a generalized connectivity response does not justify a specific construction to our road. The Kent County Road Commission does retain the easement rights, which is typically 33 feet from the road center line, but possession of an easement does not obligate or justify construction. Easements are designed for essential road maintenance and safety functions, not for discretionary recreation projects that alter neighborhood character without resident consent or demonstrated need. While the Road Commission maintains easements rights along Hickory Drive, those rights are intended to preserve roadway safety and function not to authorize recreational construction projects without demonstrated need or resident input. Civil engineers often recommend off-road trails as best practice, but best practice is context dependent, relying on traffic volume and average speed, pedestrian and cyclist counts, crash and incident data, and land use and zoning density. I sent a FOIA request to the Kent County Road Commission, and there was no report of a traffic study or pedestrian count that was done on Hickory Drive. We have no history of crashes, therefore this project cannot be considered an evidence-based safety improvement. In engineering and in public health, best practice is data-driven. When traffic counts are low, speed limits modest, and no incidents recorded, we would argue that constructing an off-road trail is not an evidence-based safety measure, it's an overextension. There is no data indicating increased risk to pedestrians or cyclists on our drive. Without such evidence, claims that an 8-foot multi-use path would enhance safety remain speculative and unfounded. Safety improvements should address the hazards demonstrated, not a hypothetical one. There's no record of pedestrian or vehicular conflict on Hickory Drive that would justify a paved multi-use trail. Cannon Township residents consistently express concern about responsible use of taxpayer funds, and constructing and maintaining a paved trail involves substantial and recurring costs. The construction with excavation, grading, and asphalt paving, maintenance, as was already mentioned, with snow removal, sealing, repairs, vegetation control, signage, and liability coverage. Given that Hickory Drive already provides a safe, low-traffic environment, building an additional trail duplicates function and diverts funds from higher priority needs within the township. Residents consistently emphasize fiscal prudence. Building and maintaining a paved trail where there is no safety issue existing diverts funds from projects of broader community benefit. As brought up in prior township meeting and in congruence with the township's goal to improve pedestrian safety and access, a better thing would be to make a line, but that was said it wouldn't be done. So in conclusion and in summary, there's been a low response rate to the survey. There is a unanimous opposition from the affected residents. There's no data on safety or incidents with vehicles. There's long-term maintenance obligations that contradict township goals of responsible spending. There are alternate routes that are available. Painted lines do provide a safe alternative. In conclusion, while the Road Commission may hold easement rights, the exercise of those rights should be guided by necessity, data, and community support. The current proposal to construct an 8-foot multi-use path on Hickory Drive does not align with survey evidence, safety data, or fiscal prudence. Our home, Hickory Drive, is a low-volume, again, rural residential road with no history of pedestrian or vehicular incidents. The project would not meaningfully improve safety, but would significantly alter the character of our neighborhood and impose unnecessary long-term maintenance costs on the township. We therefore urge the Township Board and Committee to reassess the interpretation of the recreation survey results, conduct a safety and traffic study before asserting best practice, and engage directly with the affected residents, which seems to be a recurring theme, and identify alternative routes that meet connectivity goals while preserving the integrity of rural neighborhoods.
Thank you.
The other thing to consider is we're going to take that trail right across Keys, and as was stated previously by Michael, people drive down that road 60, 65 miles an hour, and you're going to have people crossing, and you say there's these, you're going to put all these things, there's nothing to slow traffic down. I use the trails all the time also, and when you cross on Sunfish Lake over to the cemetery,
Yes.
there's all kinds of issues there all the time. So thank you for your time.
Is there another way to get to there without crossing Keys somewhere?
No, we have to cross Keys.
Right. Okay. All right. No, that,
Could you not take it to the stop sign and utilize that, because there's no slowing of traffic on Keys Drive? So if there was a traffic or safety report done by the Kent County Road Commission on Keys, and they said it was unsafe because of all of the traffic that's constantly going, and there's no way that you can slow down traffic to come through there, that is a terrible spot to cross the trail.
We met with Kent County Road Commission, and they suggested the west side of the road as their preferred crossing.
okay. All right. Come on up.
I'm all about that. But that's
So we are always, listen, we are always about the speed limits, but there's issues with the exits county road, but yes. Okay, go on.
Hello.
Sorry, name and address.
My name is Megan Stoll, and I live at 8100 Oakview Ridge. So we are one of the communities directly affected by this because it will be crossing over our private drive. And my other hat that I wear is I have 3 children that attend Meadow Ridge Elementary. And I'm very concerned about the trail going behind the school for the same reasons that were previously posed, as well as the overall safety of the trail, being able to spend all this money to get, I get that people want the trail. So I guess my point is there's a lot of people here that are residents that are directly affected by this trail who say they want a trail, but they want it done better. I would say that if we can't, if all the people that are directly affected aren't happy with it, then maybe the trail in itself needs to be tabled.
For
Because-
what? Like not, you mean tabled?
like
or,
tabled, like we
forever?
can't come to, yeah. I mean, so a lot of the property owners didn't give you easements, which is their way of telling you they don't want this trail through their.
That's why we're kind of where we are, right?
I know, and I think
There's
that's,
one property owner.
Yeah, one property owner didn't give an easement.
and if you were to ask the people on Rum Creek Trail or Oakview Ridge, I think you would also see that we don't want the trail crossing our private drive. But again, we don't have the right to fight Kent County on the easement, right? So we don't have any repercussion other than to come here and say, we don't support the trail as it sits. Is there a better alternative? It doesn't seem like there really is. So is it worth doing it all? I'm a new resident back to Kent County. We just bought this house less than a year ago. I spent 12 years living in Kentonwood, backed up to the east-west trail. And we had loads and loads of problems living on the trail. And we really ended up hating it, even with small children, because of the constant issues that all of these people are citing. And the thought of putting that trail behind my children's school really panics me. The state of Michigan has 40,000 sex offenders in this state, and they target schools, and we're giving them a perfect pathway to stalk children, know where children go home. And I just think that it's a really bad decision. And I understand the school's perspective. They did not tell the parents that this was happening, that they had granted this, or at least they didn't do it in the time I've been there. I know that this is probably the unpopular opinion to say no to the trail. If the trail has to happen, my vote would be towards running it down Keys. You're only crossing 3 more driveways. If you didn't have to get easement from us, I can't see how you'd have to get easement from those 3 people. And that would be the only alternative that, I mean, I don't like it in general, but I really, really, really dislike it going behind my children's school.
All right. Thank you. Anybody else? Who's next? Come on up.
Hi, my name's John Clymer. I'm at 6570 Keys. We love the trail. we want to say thanks to all you guys for all your hard work. I've been listening to everybody. And the one thing that was never mentioned about Meadow Ridge is the specific distance from the trail will be from the playground. I mean, unless someone else has heard it, that might make some of the parents feel better.
How far is it? Do we know?
I don't know offhand.
Do you know?
Scott? It's a
I
long
would have
ways.
to measure it.
It's in the playground. They play soccer.
It's not in the playground. It's in the woods. It's a long ways away.
They even kick the soccer ball all the way over there.
It's a long ways.
Yeah, I was just.
That's okay. All right. Well, there's a disagreement on where it is. We'll figure that out.
I just
Sorry.
want to point that out.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Thank you.
If you listen,
So Jim's guessing it's about 800
almost
feet.
being implied is going directly through the playground.
Say that again.
Listening to people, sometimes it seemed like it was going directly
In the playground.
in the playground, right behind it. We've lived on Key Street for 30 years. We had 3 kids go there. That's a big piece of property. It was named Meadow Ridge because of they had a naming contest for it, and there was a meadow on the ridge. It would be a shame if the Canton Township residents can't enjoy that property and still have a safe buffer zone for the children. And I know it's a big piece of property,
Okay.
and that's all I had to say. But thanks so much, you guys.
Thank you very much for that. Okay. Come on back up.
Yes, just a question. Sounds like Hickory doesn't want the path going up their road.
Mm-hmm.
Why not continue all the way down 9 Mile Road to Blakely, go up along the farm on Blakely, up to Keys, and then cut to the west and go down that way?
Do you want to take this one?
I can take it somewhat. So we're going back a long ways now, probably 15 years. That was looked at, and we did some preliminary analysis of it. As it was, it turned out that, maybe that property owner is no longer, but there's a large farm on Blakely,
right?
Where because of the ditch along there, we would have needed an easement, and that farmer at the time said absolutely not. So that was one of the reasons that it didn't. And the second reason is that the primary route that the township has always wanted was to go north through Luton and then as cross country as possible. So, okay.
I don't like the idea of going down Hickory either.
Oh, the family still.
Beg your pardon?
I don't like the idea of going down the right of way on Hickory either, but that's that's what we have.
Yeah, well.
Because my understanding is maybe I'm wrong on this, but there's a couple of houses on the east side of Hickory. Is that right? That don't want it in the woods behind their house. Well, it's their property and they don't want to do that. So we got to get to Luton apparently. And that's where we are. I don't like the idea either because, we'll talk about it more when we talk, but go ahead.
Preferably, we would love to do that right up behind John and Al's house, and we'd buy their easement. They would consider it. That would solve everything for Hickory.
Right.
But that's the way it is because of it's people's property. We have to listen to people on the property if they won't give it.
People get in the road.
What's that?
Those people get in the road all the time when you're trying to put in a bike path. And it's the people that are going to use it. So
I don't know. Well, all right. Okay. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mandy
Hi.
Shergold,
Mm-hmm.
8180 Rum Creek Trail.
Hi.
Hey, so I'm confused. I have looked at the map. I tried to answer my own question, but I'm trying to figure out like the power line issue again. Seems like that would just solve so much, but can we go back to the power line? Because like I can't even imagine coming out of Rum Creek Trail every morning. I drive that, come up off the hill, take a right, take a left on Blakely. Like it's already dangerous.
Which section of the power line are you talking about?
So I'm thinking about like, guys, help me out with directions and stuff. These are my neighbors, but
Yeah, so
here's all across Luton, they got you.
right. So if you took it in here, correct. And it went all the way through there.
Yes.
It takes it off of Keys, which the one of your big problems is crossing. And I don't know about Oakview, but for sure crossing Rum Creek Trail, that hill is going to be horrible for you to build a trail across it because it's so steep.
Yeah, but that's not original. But if you look at this, you'll see. Let's say this is what consumers energy on the issue. if you live there, would you give an easement? But imagine this was the committee. But doesn't consumers already have? No, right. So
Okay, so
and then we also have to get easement from the town. Okay.
so we have to get back to our meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can talk to him when we're done.
No, but
'Cause
that
you,
was
you
my
can stick
question.
around.
I was trying to.
Did you get an
understand.
explanation? Did you?
Yeah.
Yes, that's where she was looking. Yes.
Yeah. So that's what I was wondering. So there's no, like, we already exhausted that.
Correct.
And then the other thing I had was, we say this has been going on forever and ever and ever, but property ownership has changed. People have changed. And Rockford's changed. Like, does it ever get to the point where you go back to a route that you already closed that door? I know at some point you got to get the project going, but it seems like taking, just based on all the feedback, like one more look to say, maybe we could do the 9 mile thing, or maybe that farmer doesn't live there anymore.
I've heard
He actually
just
does.
recently that it does. So
Yeah, he was at our
All
board
right.
meeting not long ago.
and in addition, I mean, there's a route that I would love to go back to,
Yeah.
and I don't think you would agree to it. So
Well, I'd probably get divorced if I did.
exactly.
So I'm not.
Actually, I take that back. You probably would.
I
So
don't know.
I take that back.
I don't
All right.
know. It goes, we have a 12-year-old. We love
Yeah.
for our kids and anybody who lives on Rum Creek Trail to be able to ride into Rockford.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
going back to what Steve's saying, not everybody, but a lot of people do support the trail. It's just, how do we do it? And Steve, I was going to make you laugh and say, well, can't we build something in the sky? Like some kind of a,
Now, so Todd said that and was very roundly criticized for making fun of that, right? Last time. So he said, how about a bridge across all these? And people were,
The humor
Hey,
was
somebody
lost.
said, why not get a roof over
so
the,
we don't joke about this.
All
So,
well,
right. No, these comments are all fair. I use the example of the roof on the trail, how some people are. These are all very, very legitimate, 100%. And it's a tough call, I will say. So,
yeah.
so
We
who's
also
next?
had our neighborhood change too, so I don't want
Yeah.
anybody to think I'm the only person that's holding
No.
up the whole trail.
No, and in fact, other people who had agreed to it afterwards said that due to the delay, they didn't want any part of it anymore. So
Oh, okay.
we had everything but one lined up, and
Yeah.
then when they all came tumbling after. So
Understood. Thank you.
You bet. Who's next? Anybody? Come on up, name and address, please, and thank you.
Real quick, just
Yeah, and
Joe
take
Zale,
your-
5221 Sunfish.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just best case scenario, when's like the grand opening of the trail?
So
never.
We'll see how tonight goes. But if tonight goes the way I hope it will go, we hope to break ground as soon as school is out, and we're going to start on the Meadow Ridge section so that we can immediately get in when there's no kids in the school and complete that section long before they come back to school.
Okay.
And then we will work eastward. The plan is to have everything done in 3 months.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
All right. That's all.
Built,
Thanks.
built and done.
built and done.
Who's next? Anybody?
Okay, repeat performer. 8310 Rum Creek Trail, Bob Workema. So just a comment. You're talking about going across driveways along Keys, right?
Yep.
One of those driveways is Rum Creek Trail, okay, because it's a private road.
Yep.
So it's considered to be a driveway. That hill is so incredibly steep. When we come out of Rum Creek Trail, we're moving pretty fast just to get up that hill, right? When you're coming in, the visibility is horrible. I would hate to think that there would be a family going across on the trail, crossing Rum Creek, and something bad happened, right? Just because visibility and steepness,
and care of use.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna argue it. I'm just saying that there are hundreds of thousands of driveways crossed by bike paths all across the state of Michigan.
Yeah, but this is 13 residences all using that.
Even more complicated than yours.
Yeah.
Like Todd said, I built 500 miles of it.
Okay.
I understand your concern, but it's usually a learning curve, and that learning curve is usually very quick. I'm actually quite impressed that most residents, even what they perceive to be this is nearly impossible, they within a few very short amount of time, they're like, okay, yeah, it's life, it's normal.
That's fair, Scott. I think it's reasonable to put it on the record.
Absolutely.
To say,
Yeah.
because all of my neighbors, and you've met several of them here,
Yeah, yeah.
we're pretty conservative. Nobody's driving crazy going up and down that road, but it's a hill, and it's very, visibility is difficult.
Right. I
Okay.
get it. So who's next? Anything else? Sorry.
No, that's good. Thank you.
We can't be done. Who's next? Anybody? It's almost 10 o'clock. Come on.
You don't want to go.
All right. All right. Well, that's what? So, okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and go to the next thing, which is what? Board action. So, who wants to lead this off? Todd, you want to go
Yeah,
ahead?
sure. I can lead this off. I would like to move this to a vote by the board to accept the plans as drawn. Just a little background. I will tell you that right now the cost estimate, and by the way, this is all done with millage dollars that were voted by Cannon Township. So I want you to know this is not coming out of the general fund. These are dollars that are set aside specifically for advancing our parks in Cannon Township. So our construction estimate is $1,850,000. Prine and Newhoff, their engineering and construction management fee is $259,000. We did get the DNR grant for $300,000. So our projected cost out of our fund, out of the Park and Rec fund, is $1,809,000. Now, Dave Spencer was so kind to provide me a projected fund balance after winter tax collection, millage collection. Our balance will be $2,027,937. So we've got plenty of money. As you know, in Cannon Township, we do not take on a project like this unless we can pay cash for it. So we're in a position to pay cash. So finances are not a problem. So that being the case, I would like to make a motion that we accept the plan as drawn that Prine and Newhoff did, and our project cost not to exceed $1,809,000.
Is there support for that?
I'll support that.
Okay, it's been moved and supported. Before we vote, though, I have some questions. Does anybody else have any questions at all? Henry, go ahead.
The easements from Rockford Public Schools is signed. Yes. I can't answer or speak for Rockford Schools, but it is a reasonable request to talk to them and say, should we put a fence in? And I don't know why they would be opposed to it. They get a free fence out of the deal, right?
Would you put
Well, would we want, you were asking Rockford Schools to pay for it?
No. I'm asking.
Maybe they could do another bond proposal.
They could.
Ouch. Woo. Ouch.
No, but
Did you say? What? I'm just saying, why not? What's wrong with that? It went so well.
would you consider an addendum to your motion?
Yes, I would.
Request them
Absolutely.
permission for
So
that?
you,
The thing that would concern me is I would need to understand the cost before I could fully answer that question.
Roughly 50.
We just did a quote
What?
for
How do you know
Sunfish
that?
Cemetery.
I asked our engineer
just now?
a little while ago.
15 grand for a fence? 50.
50.
That's so we just did we just got a quote for Sunfish Cemetery, and what was it, Jim? It was 20 some thousand for just 18,000 for just a little section. So that's a lot of linear feet that I'd be concerned that would really blow our budget. I would just have to understand that cost first.
Roughly 50. Yeah, just a rough idea.
So we don't even know if you hit the dartboard,
No,
let alone the bullseye. All right, that's good. Okay, so that's an amendment. What is your amendment that you want Todd to, or we split the cost with them or something,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Explore the
I'm
fence.
open to whatever they
To
are.
allow us to add a fence of some nature.
All right. Anybody else have any comments or questions?
Todd, can I ask you a question on the
Absolutely.
fence?
Go ahead.
As far as a fence going through there, is that any concern is like a trade-off for the nature part of this, that all of a sudden, well, you're riding through nature, you're off the road, but you're riding next to a fence. And I understand you can see through it. I mean, it could be a nice looking fence. I'm not here to argue with
Dark
it's,
green vinyl one.
Yeah, I'm not here to argue any of that, but it's more just that you're riding along a fence all of a sudden. And I think that could it take away from what we're trying to do going through this area?
Absolutely. It would change the aesthetics.
It would.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a fair point. Jessica, you had something.
Yeah. Two things. For the fence, you could build it closer to the playground. Just an idea. And then it's not as much square footage, kind of like how the other playgrounds are fenced in Rockford District. Second thing, we're talking about safety, which I honestly didn't even think about the school safety prior to this meeting. So that was, thank you guys for bringing that up. But when we talk about down the road for other playgrounds and other future trails that possibly are coming,
I don't want any more trails.
don't bring it up. Well, you're the one who talked about connecting.
This process was so much fun. Let's do it again.
I'm just thinking, like, in the future, so we have lakes, and if someday nothing has been talked about, someone mentioned this vision, I think a couple meetings ago, from connecting from the Balk Family Park
Yes.
to Pando, and I assume we'll have the same trail conversation going by lakes. And so, and we also are talking about safety of the kids, but then some residents are saying, well, we're not worried about safety on the street. And so can you just explain how the due process works for the parents of Rockford residents Rockford schools, just how the due process works and why parents wouldn't be involved unless they go to these meetings for, it's just due process, right? Like,
What are
it's
you
not
asking?
how the process works when we go for the easements to Rockford Public Schools, because Meadow Ridge parents, obviously you guys shared that you're upset that you weren't included in the process, but it is the way the due process works. It's not like we didn't follow the guidelines.
Correct.
We work extremely, I didn't
Thorough.
you did all the work. Thank you. Can you just explain that due process and how that?
Sure. So I can't speak for Rockford Public Schools. So they operate just the same as we do. They have an agenda, and everyone's welcome to come and speak. It was on the agenda. It was advertised for a long time that we were going to be talking about this trail expansion. My recollection is no one came and said anything at that board meeting, at the school board meeting. Our process is when we start to envision what the trail will be like. We reached out years and years ago. Back then it was Dr. Scheibler, and spoke to Dr. Scheibler, which he was totally in favor of doing it. This last time when we started breathing life back into the project, we reached out to Dr. Steve Matthews, and Scott Post and I went and met with Dr. Matthews long before it was presented to the board. And also her name escapes me right now, the facilities director. I'm sorry. Her name escapes me, but she would be in charge of kind of the facilities for all of Rockford schools. And so we engaged her after the meeting. They were all excited. We agreed that we would submit plans to them. They would share those plans with the board, have plenty of time to talk about it. I think they had a couple months, if not 3 months, to just review the plans, come back to us with questions. And then at that point, they put it on the agenda so that the public could come in and ask questions. So whether or not, I don't know why anybody didn't show up, but nobody showed up to ask questions.
Thank you for explaining that.
Yep.
Who else?
Yeah, just
Go ahead.
quick comment. Would it instead of having a fence line the path, would it make sense to have a fence to enclose the playground? Bring that.
Well, these are questions I can't answer. I think
The school, if we're going to do that, that's totally a
that's
school
up to the school.
It's
Now,
If we're going to enclose, that's not our call. That would
I
be,
know, but bring that.
well, yeah, okay. I don't,
So Dave, are you saying that you'd be in favor of us paying for the school to enclose in their playground? Is that what you're saying?
for us to pay for them to close in their playground?
Well, who's going to pay for the fence along the path?
Well, I'm hoping the school will, but I mean, if the consensus from the school is that the fence makes sense, I mean, I don't care. I mean,
We don't have to make a decision on that right
hang on,
now.
if
but
the consent,
bring it up as an option.
he's going to.
That's all.
All right,
That's all I
do
have to
that.
say.
Talk to him about
You want
closing the whole thing.
To Jess's
Yes.
point, there's less linear feet, but
If you did what?
if we just did a fence around the playground instead of lining the fence all the way,
Be less expensive, I would.
it should be less
Is that right?
expensive. It would be. It'd be a lot
That's why
less,
I brought it
lot
up.
less linear
Then
feet.
just do that.
Yeah,
Just
I'll
put a
talk to him.
fence around the, huh? We're used to it. It's okay. Okay, there you go. Oh, they are going to be. I promise you that. Okay.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Who's next? Because I have some thoughts. Anybody else? I'll go last. Oh, well, you have more? Okay, so here's the deal. It seems like to me we have a choice. The choice has been made for us about the trail. It's been in the works for years and years and years to connect to Luton. And it's not just us. It's this idea. I'm not a huge fan of it myself, but that's just me. I don't just vote for my interests, but this idea of connecting all the trails is something that's already been decided by the county and the township for years. Okay, so the trail's going to go in. So the question is, for me at least, have we utilized our best efforts to find the best possible solution given the realities of private property ownership, easement rights, and deference to property owners? So I answer that question based on what I heard tonight, that we have done over the years a lot of work, and this is where we are. And this is the best result that we could get given the realities of private home ownership, right? Is that a fact? Okay. And it sounded to me like, if I heard this right, that we didn't do this in a vacuum. We involved the school, and they said, this is where we want it, right? Now we're going to, and I'll get to the fence in a minute. But not only did we do that, but we also involved the road commission, and they said this is where they want it, right? Given the realities of, like, particularly Hickory, right? And they're okay with that. Jim, you're our road chair. It seems to me like we could, Scott, when you do these on roads like that, do you involve the road commission with signage?
Yes, the road commission will review the plans. We'll have to right away. We will need to get a.
Whoa, geez, oh, Pete.
We'll need to get a working right-of-way permit from the road commission. Then they'll review and approve it. They also, their traffic and safety people review our crossings.
Right, and so
location in the right-of-way.
All right, so in your experience, though it affects the people that live here and the people in our township, this area where Keys is going to be crossed is nothing terribly unusual or unusually hazardous in your experience?
It's not unusual.
Okay.
No.
Well, it is. It's going to be hazardous because anytime you cross any road, it's going to be hazardous. It just is. That's a fact. Because I use, like I say up here on Sunfish, because there's that hill, and you have to be careful. You just do. And we have not had any issues, have we? Not that it won't happen someday. I put this today on your chairs, all of you, because last time we were here, a couple of people said there's no statistics about kids getting hurt in roads. Well, there is. There was a kid that was killed, and his parents were here last time. My fault. I let all these people talk about, these statistics about kids playing in streets and whatever, and it's not dangerous. My fault. I didn't realize the parents of Ryan, who was killed in a residential street, right, on a bicycle with his dad, was in the room listening to these people say that they're not dangerous. Well, they are dangerous. I don't need statistics. I know that Ryan was killed in a road on a bike. So with regard to Hickory, the fact of the matter is they're right. Property owner said we don't want it in the woods behind, so we're left with crossing, going down the right-of-way in Hickory. One thing I know I've made my mind up is there is absolutely no way on any street anywhere would I ever vote to put a trail down any street and put kids in a street. I don't care how crowded it is. So to me, what we're left with is the thing on Hickory is not my favorite thing, but we have exhausted all remedies on that, and that's what we're left with. I would love it to go east of Hickory in the woods back there, because that would solve the safety issue on Hickory. That would solve the aesthetic thing, which, by the way, just for me, aesthetics are far, far less important than safety, honestly. Aesthetics are nice. It's nice walking in the woods, whatever. I'd rather safety to me is far more important. So it sounds to me like Scott and Todd, and in fact, like probably this was before you even, right? Yeah, this has been going on for years and years and years and years, right? And it has morphed into where we are now. If Scott makes this recommendation and the road commission's been involved and the school has said what it's going to say, with the caveat that we are going to pursue this fence idea, and we're going to leave that up to the school. If we have to pay for it, we'll find a way to pay for it, right? We'll just find a way, because that's what we do, and we'll have the money somehow. So it seems to me like this is where we are. It is not perfect, but Scott, in your experience, I would assume that no trail is perfect, and there's nobody where you get 100% unanimity that everybody's excited to have it go in, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So, I don't know. It seems like to me, this is where we are with the foregone conclusion that the trail's got to connect to Luton. So, this is where we are. Now, on the fence, what did you, I didn't get your name. What, can you come up here? Because you had a good idea. Sorry. Yeah. Yes. If you don't mind. What was your thought? Well, huh?
I don't mind.
Oh, good. What was your thought about the fence? Because it was,
Okay.
but I forgot it already because, yeah.
The fence would need to be closer to the trail. That's the very least that should happen. The kids use the entire area. From what looks like it's proposed, the trail is going to go on the outskirts of the area. So it's not just a playground. It's a playground in a field, and there's a lower playground. The kids are everywhere. They go out in the meadowy area.
Do they go this far into the woods?
Yes, it's not woods. It's not woods. There's a
I
handful
thought
of
there's
trees.
woods.
So here's my other issue though. If you're about to vote on an issue, have you
Oh,
not walked this property?
I see. I got a
Have you
picture
guys
of it.
not been on all of these physical pieces? Every
They
one
have.
of you have. You're going to vote on this, and you have not been there.
Oh, I don't deny that.
Yeah.
Go and read. Yeah, all the things. That's the thing. Right. That's what we're asking. Like, can you not make the ultimate decision on that until we clarify? And also, when you talk about that, those pieces of the property owners that you've gone through for a long time and easements and things like that, same thing with the school board, right? Like, that's a different person, the other superintendent. I don't know that that's the entire, like, we haven't seen that in the minutes about the piece that says that has to go that way on the property. So there's just a lot of conversation about the trail on the property and the way it needs to be. I think that piece needs to have a lot more conversation.
Okay. That's not quite what I thought you had said, but that's okay. That's okay.
What I'm saying
No,
though,
it's
also
good.
when
It's
you
fine.
listen to your
Yep.
piece that you guys presented to the school board, you said you were going to have it finished by fall and you were going to start working west to east. That just goes to show how little you know about it, because the place where the children play is on the east side of the property that would need to be ready before school, not the west side. So this is what I'm saying. It's about having this communication together.
No, the idea is to complete the Meadow Ridge Elementary piece we'd start when school gets out, and it'll be completed before they come back over the summer months. And then we would work eastward on Keys.
Like the whole
Toward
project
Hickory.
west to east.
Yes.
So
whole
so that Meadow Ridge will be done.
Correct.
Right.
Also,
So we're
summer
not
school
going to
is
be
at
there.
Meadow Ridge
We
too,
will not
so-
have construction or equipment there when the kids are in session.
Well, they have summer school at Meadow Ridge. So
Well, we got
kids
to
will
be,
be there.
well,
So-
okay. So, okay.
It's just having the conversations and communication. The fence, not to fence up to the school. That wouldn't make a difference. That would actually
The
be worse,
fence what?
to be closer to the school.
Yeah, okay. So here's what it seems like to me. Thank you.
Conversation, communication. That's all.
What we had, okay. I know it seems like there hasn't been any work on this, but there has been. There's been for years. There has been so much work, I promise you. So, yeah. So, all right. With the amendment that the fence is going to be explored with the school, we're not going to start construction anyway until fall, right? Spring. So you
So
got
the
time to
school's
go
out.
to the school, go to Matthews or boards or whatever you do. Nancy?
Can I ask a
Wait, oh, you have another one? Who, what?
Can I ask
Oh,
one other question? I just personally, I don't think that there's many parents that looked at this school to think about, oh, it's on Meadow Ridge and they want a fence next to the playground.
Mhm.
Right. It might be the only choice we have, and that's understandable. Is there any option to go under the power lines or near there with the understanding that they might do a project someday and we have to move our trail? and then that's plan
And
B.
then we what, move our trail?
That's if there's no plans in place. I mean, we're just making the decision based on the what if out of that.
Well, what we're making, Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, but what we're making a decision on is what the school told us where they
Correct.
will allow us to do it, and that's
That's right.
where they gave us the easement, right?
But if there's this I mean, I'm just, before we vote on it, I'm just curious if there's this understanding from a lot of parents here, and if there's others that are here that we don't want to, like the fence by it. I grew up playing soccer on those soccer fields. I'm very familiar with a piece of property.
So there's a power line right here.
Yep.
So we cannot go into that power line. So we'd have to be north of that power line, which
Yep.
would put us right next to that parking lot.
Right.
I mean,
It's room, and I guess I'm not trying to upend the whole plan. I mean, I've been a part of these discussions with Todd too. I'm on the Parks and Rec committee. I mean, we've talked a lot about this, and it's really impressive what Todd has pulled off with this. To pull this project together has been amazing. It really has been, to see this come together. But
thank you.
If there's another choice that would kind of strike this balance that we're trying to find, it might be worth considering.
Well, Todd, address that then, would you?
I mean, could we make that part of the amendment to ask, is that an option? But I'm not sure.
Scott, if you don't mind, because I know you've been for years and years battling that one.
It's very typical for we worked on the West Boardman Lake Trail up in Traverse City, for example, too. It grows right on Northern Michigan College's property. They had no idea what they were going to use with a large swath of land, but they did not want us on it because they said we might do something in the future. So we took a different route. It's the same, and then NMC decided not to do anything with the land and sold it. So it wouldn't have mattered. But the point is that during the process, the school says we don't know what we're going to do with that, so we want to keep it clear. And I don't know if the township wants to build a pathway and then reconstruct the pathway.
That would not be a good use of
it. Would not be, but it's worth considering. I guess I'm just.
But you did consider it.
I am, because
they did consider it. That was considered, and they said that's not
considered correct.
That was considered, and the school said no.
I understand that. I just think that if it's an option, because the fence is going to cost us money too.
Well, what do you want him to go back and ask them again?
If he's got to go back and ask about the fence, and they say no, what are we going to do?
Well, if they say no, we don't think we will not let you put a fence there. Then there won't be a fence there, but there will be a trail. But that's what the school has said. That's what because we have to go through the school properties.
Completely.
Here's the way it is. It seems, correct me somebody if I'm wrong. We have to use that school property somehow, right? And the school said, this is where we will let you put it, right? And you explored all these possibilities. You explored all of them. And they said, no, for this reason, and this reason, this is where we'll let you put it. Is that right?
That is correct.
Ask him.
Correct. So those are discussions that happened years in advance over the years, first with Dr. Scheibler, then with Dr. Matthews when he came in. So when we finally presented to the board, it was after everyone had decided at the Rockford School Board, this is where we want the trail. I can't, I'm just telling you, I'm not the Rockford School Board.
What's that?
Why don't we just ask if that's an option? If you're going to go for the fence, just have it as an option.
Can you ask? Well, you can ask the school anything you want.
Yeah.
If you have something to say, come on up. But if you want, you can ask the school anything that you want. Go ahead.
I don't even love the idea of a fence, to be honest. I mean,
Boy.
sorry, but so my kids, I have 4 kids at this school, 11, 9, and 2 6-year-olds.
Okay. Why? But why?
They go through active shooter drills.
Right.
Multiple times a year.
Okay.
People are not allowed into the school to do classroom parties anymore.
Right.
Security is such a huge thing, and we're just going to put a little fence up there, and with these other people walking out there, it's not, the fence is not going to solve the problem.
So I misunderstood, because when you said you didn't want a fence, you're saying you don't want a fence because you don't want the trail where it is.
I don't want the trail there.
Perfect.
It's
I got
our
it.
children.
I got it.
Okay, and right, but come to recess. It is chaos out there. There are 2 adults. I don't know how many kids are out there. Lacey?
143 kids. Like, it's a lot. And to be just inviting the community into that, like, I don't feel safe about that. So I just feel like I needed to say that. My kids do shooter drills.
As part of the
And like
school?
he said, they wanted to put individual locks on the classroom doors. Right? Like, people are going to be on this trail and be able to see my children. So, yeah.
What's going to get approved? Oh, I don't know.
Doesn't that negate the school altogether? Like, they don't have to be involved.
But we've talked about that. Why aren't we? Well, no, was it?
Can we? I think we should just. Can we go with Henry's motion then? His
Yeah.
friendly amendment.
Well, I don't know. Does anybody? I want to give everybody a chance. So, are we done? Anybody else? Go ahead. Come on up. I don't. Let's just what?
Did you not just say that safety is the greater concern to aesthetics?
Yeah, safety compared to aesthetics.
Yes.
Right.
So there is some concern about 3 more driveways. I mean, you've got us all already. So people are already going to have to be traveling from where the trail ends or begins at Hickory all the way to the school property now and have to watch for roads. So if your concern is about safety, then get rid of the school altogether.
No, if my concern was totally about safety, we wouldn't have a trail.
Well,
That's what I'm saying.
I know that, but when you're
No,
when
and I'm
you're
serious
talking
about that. But
I am
there's a
too.
balance. Now, hang
But you're
on, let me say
talking-
something.
okay.
There's a balance here.
Yes.
That when we talk about safety and aesthetics, I would err on the side of safety. What we're faced with here is the school saying this is where we will allow you to put it. Period.
Understood.
So I don't know.
We selected that. It has been indicated multiple times. The reason you picked that path.
No, the reason that
was-
path was picked is because that's where the school said you can
No,
put it.
but you're going through. You headed towards the school for aesthetic purposes.
It's gotta-
You wanted to get off Keys as quickly as possible and get back to the path. Those were your exact words.
That's correct. Route the path, as the township has always stated, was to be off
Right.
for safety and for aesthetics.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. What do you have?
I just want to clarify, is this the decision of the school board for this specific path, or was this the only path that was presented? Because at the school board meeting, this easement was already drafted for this specific location. So this characterization of this is where the school wants it, I don't know if that's accurate.
Ask Tom.
I don't know if that works.
Do
No
I have to
one from
explain
the
this
school
again?
was saying-
How many times do I have to
One
explain
more
this?
time, please.
Okay. So the school board went through, I mean, this has been Scott, you're the only consistent in this whole thing for many, many years. I took the Park and Rec
Walk us through
position
the
in March of
process, Scott.
24.
And I just want to understand the history. Because when
Yeah,
I'm
we
looking
are.
at the
You're gonna
minutes,
get it.
it doesn't indicate. It indicates that
Right.
the
You're gonna
township
get-
went there with
No,
this
you're
proposed
going
plan.
to get it right now.
Okay, so I was part of the process, but not the process. I think you would have to get Bonnie Blackledge in the room. And
Years and years
in
and
the
years
room.
ago.
You'd have to get everybody in the room to actually discuss it. But going back 20 years ago, the discussion was made with previous administrations, and this was already said, previous administrations, that route along the top of the north edge of the school property was the preferred route of the township. And as it evolved over time, when we decided we had to come because we couldn't get easements through Rum Creek, we decided we had to come down Keys. And again, these were township board meeting or township Parks and Rec meetings, kind of working through this. Then it was presented to the school again, saying, "Well, where would you like us to come? We would still like to do a cross-country trail." The school board said, "Well, we really would like you to be on the outside edges of school property." The discussion was made earlier, as previously stated, that we discussed going down Consumers Energy right away. Two things happened. Consumers Energy wasn't happy. The school said we don't want it there because we have future potential plans for that area. So the end result was, in conversations with Dr. Scheibler and Dr. Matthews, was that was where they wanted it. At that point, we were directed to draft an easement of that location. And so at that point, an easement was drafted, presented to the township, to the school board meeting. The school board discussed it, unanimously approved it, and said, "We're excited I mean, I'm not exaggerating when I said the school board said we are so excited to get this project built. So I guess it's one of those situations where it was discussed. It was discussed with the school board discussed it. Everyone had a full understanding of where it went, what happened behind the scenes at the school board, what happened behind, I don't know. No one knows. That was the school board
And I'm just looking at the minutes where it doesn't indicate a proposed.
I can't help it. I didn't like those minutes.
And
Yeah,
it
that's
doesn't
up.
indicate
That's
an
the school
easement, being looked at with property, because I've looked at those and I don't see how this would limit or be a mandatory license on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that would be a school decision.
Go to the school.
They told me to write the easement and sign it.
Opposed to changing that path if the school board said, based on their feedback, that that would be okay on the school property? There's no plan.
So I will tell you what will happen. It's not what we're okay with. I will tell you what'll happen, I think. Hypothetically, if this board approved this proposal, if sometime between now and the final stages of this, the school came to us and said, we want to talk to you about redoing our easement, we would say, what do you want? It's your property. So go knock yourself out with them. Seriously. Yeah, I good, because yes, do that. Right.
If enough parents get involved and say they don't want it there, the school doesn't want it somewhere else.
Well, then probably we won't have a trail. That's okay.
Okay, I just
No, I'm serious, because with all the other property owners, this is such a juggling thing. But so the thing is that with everybody, this is where it has kind of morphed because of the way everything, you go down this and something says no, so you have to go back this way. They say no. This is what we're left with to carve this out. And enough people said yes, including the school, to get there. But we have to absolutely respect private property rights. And so the school says they're the owner. This is where we want it. If you go to the school and the school says, we don't want it here anymore, we will do what the school says because it's their property. Actually, it's your property, but they control it, the board. So
That's we're going back to the.
yeah,
That's back to the. We don't want it down the main drag. Correct?
yeah, we want to keep it off the street.
There's nothing that's systematically stopping us from doing that if the school shuts it down.
If the school shuts it down, we will have a choice where we have to either go along Keys with all the cuts and the driveways, hits this, then we'll have to decide if we'll figure it out is what we'll do. So, okay, but it'll probably, whatever. If the school says no, then we'll start it over. Right?
And we probably won't have a trail.
We won't have a trail. It's okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Come on up. Name it. I know you did it before, but
I'm going to make it quick and brief. I've heard a lot of concern about safety, and yes, I respect your opinions of that, but I've been using the White Pine Trail and other trails. I ride it constantly, sometimes 3-4 days a week, from the ballpark all the way up to Howard City. So I get a lot of riding in too, and I've never had any situation on the trail anywhere that concerns me of safety. You know, I don't see people out there that are scaring me. I see normal people like yourselves out on the trail using it to get a walk in their dog. Most of them do have leashes on the White Pine Trail. The other point I want to make is that during the school year, go out and use the trail during the day. There's no one on it. There's absolutely no one there. It's used on weekends. It's used in the evenings. The summertime, you get more use of it throughout the day, the evenings and so forth, but it is safe. Friends of mine their kids grew up, I should say, on the White Pine Trail. Their house backed right up to the White Pine Trail between West River Drive and Roog River off of Carlton Woods. Their backyard didn't have a fence, wide open to the trail. Their kids were young toddlers at the time. Now they're all married, and they never had an issue at all on the White Pine Trail. So it's a safe trail. The trails are safe. That's my opinion. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Scott, in your experience building, however, 500 miles, whatever you did, schools, they're in proximity to elementary schools from time to time?
Yes, quite frequently.
Okay.
Yep. And Oddly enough, we actually have tend to have great cooperation with schools from elementaries to high schools as far as easements go.
And is this one unusual?
This is not unusual, no.
All right. Okay. All right. We're going to vote now. Nancy?
Jim,
Yes.
Cy,
Yes.
Henry,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
David.
Yes.
All right. So that's just us. It's not starting tomorrow, I promise you. So go to the school, talk to them. It's their property. Okay? And get back with us. All right? The fence. The amendment basically was that Todd's going to approach the school with the concept of putting a fence somewhere to protect the enhanced safety for the kids. We're not offended if you leave, even though we have other things on our agenda. Huh? I know. I'm fine. All right. All right. Go ahead.
Okay. I believe this is the last thing on the agenda, and it has.
What?
We got community.
Oh, no, we do. All right. Todd, oh, no, that's mine. Is it? Okay. So what action do we need on the building plans to approve it? None? That's just informative? All right. All right. What's next? The employee medical insurance. Go ahead.
Okay. Unrelated to trails or anything of that nature. It's open enrollment time for the insurance. So Jim, Alice, and myself, we did an analysis.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you,
You don't
Scott.
have to stick around.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. I
Okay.
don't know about you, but I feel a few pounds lighter.
What's that?
I don't know about you, but I feel a few pounds lighter.
Yeah.
Got their pound or two of flesh out of
That's
us.
all right. That's what we're here for. Go ahead.
Okay, so part of the open enrollment analysis, we always ask for 2 quotes, which we did this time as well. So we're looking at our current renewal is with Blue Cross Blue Shield. They are coming through of $174,669. We looked at Priority Health, and that premium is for the annual premium dollars, $164,120. Then we have some dental and we have some vision. Well, the difference between Priority Health and Blue Cross Blue Shield, if we go with Priority Health, we're going to save $11,821.
So the recommendation of the personnel committee is?
The recommendation is to switch to Priority Health. And the only thing that will entail is that the participants in the Cannon Township insurance options, they're going to just have to fill out new enrollment forms.
And there will be, what is that, for a couple of people, the orthodontia.
Yes,
But we recommend also that the township just pay them that $1,000.
That is
That
correct.
would have been covered under Blue Cross because it's still a lot cheaper. Okay. Is that your motion?
That is my motion.
Is there support?
I'll support it. Oh, go ahead, Jim.
It's been moved and supported by Todd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, we've got the emails, which no comments on them. Any committee reports? No? All right. Comments by board members? Anybody?
Yes, on Wednesday, it's going to be the Planning Commission meeting instead of Tuesday due to Veterans Day tomorrow.
All right. Any other comments by board members?
Todd, when does the pickleball courts get closed down for the year? Soon.
Yeah, soon. We just talked about that at the facilities meeting this evening. We're going to remove the nets this year. Last year, we left them in as an experiment. Some water did get under the posts and pushed them up. So we're going to take the nets down, and we're going to be taking the windscreens down probably next week. And we're supposed to get a little warmer weather, so we might hold another week or two, but we'll be taking the nets down within the next few weeks.
Todd, you plan on putting caps? Because I remember that was a part of the design, that there's like caps that go over it.
We discussed that at the facilities committee.
Yes.
And at this time, we're not going to put caps in, but I want to confirm with Brian and Newhoff that it will not, because it's a PCV pipe, with concrete around it.
Yeah.
And the bottom is open to soil.
Okay.
So any water that does get in there will go down through the soil.
Yep.
We recognize that we may have some leaves or something we may have to clean out in the spring before we put the post back in.
Yep.
But those caps were, what were they, Jim? They were
$60,
Oh.
yeah. So we'd have like $800 worth of caps for, we're not really sure what you're gaining.
Right.
So I want to talk to Brennan Newhoff to understand what is the real purpose of those caps. If $800 is a wise investment, like it's going to save us in maintenance in the future, we'll gladly buy them. But if it really does nothing, then we're not going to buy them.
The caps were part of turning that into an ice rink too, correct?
But
We're not doing that. But
We're
I mean,
not doing
that was part of the design. That
the original design, but then the design got changed along the way. It would have had a lip around it for the ice rink, and when they built it, and that was before me.
Right.
They didn't put the lip on it.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Hey, Todd.
Okay.
Just a quick question, Todd. What's Cortland do with their?
they take their nets. Everyone else in the neighborhood takes their nets down.
Okay, do they do caps?
I don't know about that.
Okay. That's
All right. Any other board comments?
Just a quick one. I had a meeting with the road commission the other night. I didn't realize this, but Kent County roads have over 12 million miles a day in road travel. Our roads are some of the best in the state.
Yeah, they are.
This is the first time, though, that Kent County their county roads have been in worse shape than the local roads, because the local communities have been putting money into their roads. The county matches it, and they haven't had the money to do the regular county roads. With this new thing that the state's got going now, hopefully they'll have a little bit more money and be able to fix up the county roads in as good a shape as the local roads are.
All right.
They're still working on the study with Grand Valley State on deer population. They're supposed to come out with their report within the next couple weeks. Basically, one of the things they did, and they started already, you'll notice in Kent County, all the roads are mowed as far back as they can get them to give greater visibility to drivers when
It's
the deer
10:30.
for the
It's
sidewalk.
10:30.
What?
It's 10:30.
I know. I'm trying to make, but I
A lot of
get this
detail.
next week.
A lot of
So-
detail. Now, are these bucks or does they're concerned about? Sorry.
I'm done. No respect.
Thank you. That was very nice. I don't even know what you said. All right. Any other board? I know it was clearly. So any other board comment? All right. If not, it's time for extended public comment. You have anything?
How long is recess?
Which recess? Oh, you mean the school thing?
No, are you speaking?
You're talking, no, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the kids being out there for like 10 or 15 minutes and whatever, right? I thought of that. The thing is that this is a very important, for good reason, this is a very important issue to those parents, and we have to respect that and thoroughly investigate it, but I get it, right? So,
Thank you for your comment.
Yeah, but the parents are at the soccer game.
parents are there and they have coaches and other parents but I was thinking of this tonight in this thing. I was thinking this is why you have representative democracy, because can you imagine if we just had a straight democracy? Nothing would ever get done. It just wouldn't. I mean, these are decisions. This is why you pay us to do these, right? So anyway, all right, since you don't have it, did you have anything else?
Well, I wanted to tell you this is my first meeting that I've ever been to because I'm trying to learn the process.
Yeah.
I've never been paying attention to the local projects. So I think it's a good job.
Why, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a good one to come to. Yeah.
If
Normally, they're not this short.
and no, right now, if you want to really, well, here's the thing: the best test and the best confirmation of how good we are is you should go to other townships board meetings, because then you'll know how good we are. Honestly.
Don't forget Jim.
Who? Jim? What do you have? Morris? Really? Thank you, Jim, for helping out.